Okay, we back? This is what I hate about streaming sometimes, is when you get lane crashes like that and it just completely screws your momentum when you're online. That's very vexing. So, I don't really know what the hell just happened. It just moaned about updating your encoder drivers. I'm like, dude, usually updating your drivers is how things get worse. I've never had it drop that before. That was the weirdest error. It was just refusing to say encoding would work. It was like, can you switch off of like the enhanced broadcasting where we've got like all the different resolutions? Done that. Still didn't work. It just absolute the weirdest one I've had, I think. All right, give me one sec. We should be back on all platforms. Ping people in the Discord. All right, you guys seeing everything? We're all good? God damn it, that's so annoying. Oh, hopefully everyone's still here. And we'll get redone pause. Alright. Okay, weird little disconnect, but we are back in the action for SAS versus Voldemar. Tech up is now coming through. Voldemar slightly idled out with a dive, but not long enough, and it is going to be an amassment of Earlsguard coming, which is great for Voldemar. Oh man, that's like a dream come true. That works out that you've started to scale Musafadi already. It's actually very efficient and lean for you to play Muso into Earlsguard. SAS is at least adding in knights, but like in theory, with the extra food as well from the ranchers, couldn't Voldemar just spam only Musafadi and be favored here? It's a little bit dangerous because of yeoman transitions, but like those aren't going to come in too quickly here, right? Like presumably anyway. Knights are going to be creeping wide. Voldemar, oh my. I mean, it's only demi-lancers, right? Only. They're going to ride in. Voldemar, quick on the reaction, though. Chase being given. Army is to react. And Musafadi upgrades. All the veteran seeds, in fact, for Voldemar just kicked in. Donzos will go for the brace. Breaks the villagers away. None lost whatsoever. Now, this is only the first Earlsguard, so Voldemar might not have the full inkling that it's mass Earlsguard yet. But now, with extra ones showing up, that's approval. Thumbs up, more get queued. SAS, what is he doing behind this? Looks like he's trying to rush towards relics. We've got him guarding on the north side as well. What an interesting game. Not often you see mass Musafadi at the beginning of Castle Age anymore. I think it's going to creep back into popularity, though, just because of how cheap they are. Very effective as well. Remember, it's 9 base damage, but 15 bonus against heavy. Faster moving unit as well. One that can potentially keep up with knights. SAS, stop piling a lot of resource right now. Is he just straight up rushing him? Huh? He might actually just be rushing him. Which would be really weird here, right? Maybe not too weird. He's got the Lancaster Castle for the central crossing. He's got White Tower for the north. He's not exactly fully exposed if he does this. And that would allow him to just spam spears cheaply into Musafadi, which aren't a bad idea, actually, as a counterplay. Yeah, I actually think SAS is trying to rush him. What? I mean, he's already snatched one of the relics from Voldemar's side as well. Might be able to sneak in for the final one here. He's wasting a lot of Voldy's time just chasing around the back of the base. I mean, this is secretly quite genius, the way it's playing. Because Voldemar's not ready for a counteroffensive here. It's too early. Imagine if he just Berkshires into the main. Oh my... No, don't. He's even rushing berries just to get the cleanest time possible here. So here we go. Wingard Palace coming in. Pre-15 minutes. That's freaking wild. Bill Hook's already prepped. You know it's just going to be mass spears. And Voldemar, well, it begins to turn to Waldemar, a familiar sight. I don't think Voldemar fully realized. It might become a bit more obvious now. You're like, why am I not being attacked? And there's the confirmation. Could he gunpowder contingent straight away? He could. That would deal with the Musafadi, and it would also give him culverins to siege the base. Like, there's actually a very quick win con, but he needs an army around it first. He's going to be shy levying, so it looks like he's going straight for the Yeoman mass. What a curious game. You've never quite seen it played like this before. Sass. Even locking in Sacred Sites. All the extra cheddar in the pockets. And there we go. Wingard armies are going to start coming out. The garrison command is the way. You just want to blob spears, preferably up to about 30. And then you can maybe think about the gunpowder contingent. All of a sudden, an army. Why is Voldemar so passive? I think he just doesn't want to dive these base areas. Like, he can't go north, White Tower blocks him. He can't go center and rush Lancaster Castle. Has at least got trebuchets now coming to deal with that first threat. And Waldemar is coming in big. Look at this. He's just trying to spam up walls to secure the wider map. Nilsgaard just continues to dive into frustrate. I mean, this is ideal for Sass. Like, right now, he's wasting all of Voldemar's time. Sass wants more space, more time, just to start scaling more manas. And these type of weird, wide dives, he might just get it. Voldemar. He's scaling archers, which is the correct call into the spears, but Sass isn't making it easy. You can see he's kind of just spreading himself between Spear and Earlsguard. I think for him, MVP is Yeoman. Like, for Sass to win this, it's all about the Yeos right now, which is why I like that Voldemar is scaling Sofa. Because I don't think he's actually... Has he revealed that yet? Maybe a little bit of poke on the south side revealed it. Sass now sneaking the army around the back. Can't really dive onto these ranches, right? No. I mean, he shouldn't really be allowed to. He bells with the Yeoman, though, so I'd be surprised if he gets the kills. Maybe he's quick on stabbing the cow. Yeah, there you go. Starts to club them down. So we'll grief him a little. But there's still room just beyond that placement, right? I think he built a ranch there. So far, are going to be able to chase down the Yeoman. So nice little straight there. Remember, Sass, this is one of the weaknesses of rushing Imperial Age. Have you guys realized the problem with Sass's game strat? Where's his elite units? Nothing is elite. Everything is vetted still. So he hasn't actually really reached Imperial yet. That's the tricky thing he needs to solve. I mean, spears would be the dead obvious thing to upgrade here, right? Lancaster Castle doesn't exist anymore. Oh, man. Well, you know, it got him a lot of stone gen, in fairness. I'm not quite sure of the plan now from Sass. At first, it felt impressive. Like, you know, 15-minute Wingard Palace, but now what? You've already used Shy Levy. Your Yeoman count is underwhelming. You got slapped down by Sofa. You're building Earlsguard against Musafadi. Doesn't make sense. Spears are fine, but like Voldemar's scaling archers, right? Like, it kind of feels like Sass needs more Yeoman. He's going to march forward to the clash. But nothing is elite still. Yeah, and that elite tech for spears, it's still 40 seconds away. Archer's getting a great trade out here. Voldemar swelling up big. Imported armors is now on the way. Just 30 seconds out. Walls are already up. Or about to be complete, rather. So at that point, he's not going to really feel vulnerable. Won't have to worry about flank raids. Sass has got ranged armor 2 coming. But the Voldemar Trebs, man, they're reaching in now for the manas. Oh my. Sass, that lead isn't going to be real at this rate. He's also got 20 idle villagers. Where was that? Okay, he just tapped the stone. And the 4 Trebs are convincing me here. Yep. He kills the manas too quick. Raids into the tree line. It's all just falling apart. Now the TC. Reminder that Voldemar is definitely competing on eco. The Fulani guarantees that. You can see up top in the numbers. Another mana goes down. Sass is also now housed. I think he might just be dead. He's got elite for the Yeoman on the way, but that needs another 45. And next up should be the Monastery, right? I mean, deny the gold, and then what? Alright, like at that point, Sass won't be able to afford any more upgrades. Poison Arrowed Archers are on the way from Voldemar. We've also got Springled Massing as well. Elite is in for the spears. So far, going to headbutt into them. The Archers just pretty much stand their ground as Voldemar doesn't know what it is to move an army away. No, he full hand fist sends it. Sass, he misread the timing. He thought he was ready for the defense. Has to back up here. Elite tech for Yeoman still not there. Thinks twice about using the Wololo from the Monk. It's not going to work against this many archers. He tries to pull it back just a little bit. But Voldemar's not breaking through quick enough. And now the Springalds. I mean, at this point, you've just got spears. Like, this was Imperial Age 15 minutes for what? To die? Like this? Handful of Yeoman remaining as the elite upgrade comes in. At this point, it feels worthless. Spearmen are just trickling out into Springalds. And Voldemar, the Trebuchets, they're almost done with the TC. This looks done. He's been roasted, spat out, chewed up, and kicked out. Voldemar, what an impressive game number 1. Fast Imperial Lancaster. For what? That is crazy. What? I mean, it's just like, he's going to know it as well. That Fast Imperial just done nothing for him. Last fight was fairly tight. I think it's deceptive because the Springles hadn't shown up yet. Yo, what's up, Vortex? Thank you very much for the raid, mate. I hope you had a good stream. Welcome, one and all. We'll be checking in on Vortex's games later today. We just had an insane game number 1 between Sass and Voldemar. I don't even know what to call that one. Fast, like, supersonic Imperial Lancaster for what? Alright, so give me a second. I was going to hop into game. I just need to mark these. Luckily, like OBS crashed, but it didn't like crash my, it was very weird. It didn't crash our recording, so we were able to stop the recording, luckily. All right. Here we go, though. Let's get ready for the next one. So we need to put a point up on the board for Voldemar, don't we? Oh my god. What a game. After a wild game number 1, it gets even crazier. China was not banned in this match. The most banned Civ in competitive Age of Empires 4 somehow slips through on a guy who considers it to be his Civ. Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's Voldemar versus Sass. The drama matchup, if you will, at the moment. At least that's the way the chat's been hyping it up. Byzantines in the blue for Sass. Voldemar takes to the Chinese in the yellow. Map is going to be good old purist dry Arabia. As balance can get, where any Civ can work. The question is the powerful Byzantine pick going to be able to deal with the overpowered China pick? I mean, Biz, definitely a powerful pick in general. You know, not a pushover in any way. I put Byzantines like top 5 Civ picks most definitely in the game. They're not first ban, usually second or third. Curious to see what it's going to be able to do here up against China. Not matchup we get to see often, admittedly, due to how often China just gets outright banned. Absolutely wild. I can't believe the way that game one played out. Fast Imperial by Sass. I mean, it looked like the game was in the palms of his hands, and then he just plays out into this position where he's not able to keep up with the Malian vomit of troops. Gets us here. A brutal way to go out 2-0 this week. Reminder, this is round of 16, so we're only best of 3s at this point. And winner has the honor of facing off against either Vortex, Denis, or Mahodo. If Sass survives this, by the way, his draft, I'm going to go 4x speed because we're like 2 or 3 minutes out from live. If Sass does survive this, final map is front range, where his draft is a lot more powerful. Like, he has Japan, he has got Mongols. It makes a lot of sense there. Then again, Voldemar has been reserving HRE, so I would not write the kid out either way. Grand Winery coming in, and by the way, Sass got a phenomenal spawn. Tight double berry back, double gold back, deer as well. Only downside is it's very hard to wall this area, but overall, you've just got like a stockpiled corner. It's a fantastic for him. Voldemar, I believe we should be looking probably at Pro Scouts here. Could you maybe go for an aggro opening with archers instead? I mean, you could. I just don't think it's worth it. Your opponent's going to hunker down either way, so unless you want to try an outpost rush followed up, I'd be quite surprised. Wait, Rax? Wait, what? What did Voldemar see? Was that... Oh my god, it was a misclick. Oh, thank god he realized last second. Wow. Okay. Yeah, guys, because like spear opening here, I don't think it's really... It doesn't make much sense against Biz. Unless you've seen the Horseman beginning. Like, it might be that... Come on! I was about to say, like, unless you confirm it, usually you're expecting beginning Limitane to block your Pro Scouts, right? So it's almost like they've got in the head, have got in the head, have got in the head. But here we go. Voldemar is going back, so it's going to be 1-1-1. That could have been catastrophic, by the way. Like, the stables creep would have been frustrating. Because normally, when you're thinking about Pro Scout civs, Byzantine's first endeavor is to usually get spearmen to block Pro Scouts. So opening archers just makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Voldy will just make it a 1-1-1. And I love that he's resisted Pro Scouts here. So we talked about like archers on their own maybe not making sense, but like 1-1-1, ticking all boxes. Gonna be feeling tickety-boo, especially considering that Sass has been rushing up those cisterns. Good news for Sass is by going Horseman, if he finds what's happening here, he can cut reinforcements. First Horseman is going to arrive. I like the layering in this, though, because like the reaction from Sass could likely now be Limitane, in which case you already have archers ready for him. And Voldemar, it's going to be a very aggressive timing. We've got Blacksmith drop on the way. I like this. You know, a lot of players, they pick China just for that Pro Scouts. Not Voldemar. No, it's all about l'aggression. I don't know why we went French there. There's no French in this game. Unless... Yeah, there's no French in this game. And now we get the Pro Scouts. So, yeah, Voldemar's treating it like an earned win condition. It's a little bit dangerous when your opponent's opening Horseman. Obviously, the Lombo should keep him at home. Another cool thing about this is you have this very organic step into Blacksmith techs, by the way, even though he just went Pro Scouts. So if he wants to start going for them, remember, every single tech, he'll get 33% of the investment back. Sass, maybe... Is he... Oh, no, he's housed. Oh, no, that's disastrous. Like, look at the count. That's actually quite a long house. Yeah, he's already a villager behind. This is almost now a 2-villager lead. Actually, sorry. Wait, math? No, my brain. Yeah, it's just 1 villager. Okay, yeah. 1 and a tiny bit. Because remember, we got the 4 Imperial officials. Still, that was quite a long idle time on the TC. That's what dive pressure does to you, though, right? You react to it, all of a sudden you're pulling away, forgetting to build structures. Voldemort. Still a very strong force to try and control the mid-map for this Pro Scouts follow-up. SAS is benefiting from the systems, remember. That's buffing his economy by quite a pretty penny here, up by a 22% efficiency on each. What now? What would he do here? Because normally Byzantines are just interested in fast castling once they've got systems online. It's really efficient because your Golden Horn Tower works at double production. It takes you a minute and a half to get 5 units for free. Pretty good deal. But SAS is not like that. No, we've got Expelliarmus on the way. So he thinks there's going to be an opening to dive the enemy base. Ballsy. Spear archers coming in now. Oh, and too many villagers from SAS out on the berries. Limitane are going to be the primary target, though. Horsemen starting to follow this up. I like this. Instead of going for worker kills, much better to get the longbows. That's the thing that's critical for SAS to hold his base. A dive underneath the TC. Undermesh is there to allow for it. Longbows hide inside the town center. But the archers can now steer into the workers. Intercept and kill. And I imagine we just rotate full north. Why not? Yeah, look at them sitting here. Like dead ducks. We'll be able to make it to the gate. Should be able to get through to the other side. New horsemen rallying around there now. Snatches another. And a healthy lead begins to build for Voldemar. Not just that. He's starting to look like the type of guy that could go castle quicker than Byzantines. No switch on the Presidium. Yeah, quite often people forget about this. That's the damage reduction, so it would make it harder to kill the outpost. Yeah, keep on diving though. He wants those longbows gone. Remember, guys, the longbows are key to defense here. And SAS has none of them. 4 in total. Voldemar now prepping for castle. And this has been played so cleanly by him. A great counter to the atypical greed and just shows you the versatility. You know, everyone wonders, why is China OP? Why is it ban-worthy? Blah, blah, blah. Look at this game. It's a perfect example of why. You know, the plays just feel so organic. The fact that he was able to go aggro and still go pro scouts to make sure he always remains ahead. The taxmen just enabling so much of it, from the supervision for the increased production rates, the extra gathering, into the taxation, which, by the way, he's sitting on 600 gold in this mill. So there's an argument that Voldemar hasn't even been optimal on his taxing. He's missed out on a lot here. But now, if he starts just picking it up, taking it home, it's going to prep him nicely for a Lancer switch. Absolutely wild what this Civ can do. SAS looking pretty dead on arrival. And, you know, like, there's a question, what did he even ban instead of China? I'm going to blow your mind. SAS chose to ban Mongols instead. He got baited by the map pull. And if he'd opened up with a win in game number 1, the draft could have made sense. But that opening win for Voldemar changed everything about the drafting dynamics. Archers now diving in, more workers to full. SAS, there's just no coming back from this. No, 32 to 46 eco units now. A longbow count of 8. Castle nowhere to be seen for SAS. And the first Lancers now on the way for Voldemar. Oh, you're right. Sorry. Mongols was second ban. SAS' first, I believe, was Japan. Yeah. Japan. The best part is, his third ban is like, oh yeah, I forgot China. Like, ban Shushi. How does Voldemar lose? I think it would require him sleeping at the wheel quite a bit here. He's got map control for relic gain. He's got full Lancer advantage. SAS needs to just age up now, whether it kills him or not. Like, if you stay in the feudal age any longer, what do you get? You know, you haven't got mass olive oil grand winery set up. You haven't got a full wall in. Like, you just need it. You need Golden Horn Tower. He's trying to get into Limitane, but does feel slow. What an impressive series from Voldemar. But it's a China pick, KP. It's not impressive. No, seriously. Like, the way he played this was impressive. I thought he just straight up raw pro scouts and they just play the macro. And it's interesting as well. Sass, a guy who gets talked about for maybe being overly aggressive, didn't get a chance to be aggressive at all. Voldemar immediately puts him in his place. Lombo's just trying to do the best they can to trade out here, but the Lancers are going to munch them down. And this should just be the kill and blow. Like, what do you do now if you're Sass? Your Lombos are once again dead. Your villagers are vulnerable, beaten in the streets, and about to be dragged out by the ankles. Alright, we might try actually uploading this as a series. Pretty cool one. So there you go, folks. This is your drama grudge match of the week. But it's not going to put up a back and forth fight, I'm afraid. Sass is just reluctant to throw in the towel. I mean, in fairness, as a BO3, carved out time. He might as well see it through to the bitter end, but this does feel like a bitter end. Down by 20 workers. First, the relics is already coming home for Voldemar. And he's just playing vibrantly and widely onto the map. I mean, like, how long does it take before you're able to get Castle? It's never going to happen. A quick 2-0 in the end to lock Voldemar into quarterfinals. Damn. Maybe upload it as a series. I'm not sure. As a one-sided beatdown? Yeah, that was pretty rough. I mean, it's the nature of Sass's draft. Like, he drafted heavily, I think, to win game one. And if he does, like, his draft makes sense because he can close it out with front range, even if he flops Dry Arabia. But when he loses like that in game one, it's like, it's just curtains, right? Like, Dry Arabia, I mean, you know China's going to be coming. Like, even if you go to front range, Voldemar's not critically weak. Like, Atri is decent. But, like, when you think about the Mongols, the Japanese pick, Lancaster pick, like, Sass basically gave himself full breadth between the Danube Divide and front range. So, 2-0 there. Next up, guys, we're going to be hopping into our Deniska versus Mahodo series. After which, we'll be checking in on the winner up against Vortex. And then after that, what else have we got? Oh, Kilyadi Core as well. Remember, we've still got that. Yeah, we stacked. All right. So game one, by the way, was epic between Mahodo and Deniska. That was an incredible game. Mahodo was able to get it with a landmark snipe, which you want to check the VODs back on YouTube later for, because it delivered. But we are far from done yet. So it was House of Lancaster for Deniska up against Ayabids. I was really shocked by that pick, actually. Game two. Let's see where the boys are taking us. I'm still tilted that, like, OBS decided to crash the encoder. But shout out to Vortex for getting us back on track on viewership. What a legend. Our reigning champion. I'm just double checking I didn't... Did I do it right on the YouTube? Yes, I did. I set up a second YouTube, like, live stream so that it didn't... Because I think if you do it on the same one, it'll override the previous. It's really frustrating with YouTube with that. But... let's hop into game two. Where are we? Sunken Lands. Japanese versus Rus. I feel like we've been seeing quite a lot of Japan here, right? Yeah, quite a bit. Japan, Rus, HRE. And in some ways, this feels like just your standard powerful civs. You know, nothing too crazy about the map. But this is like, it's kind of crazy. This is a round of 32 series. This is probably the most competitive round of 32 series you're going to see in a while. Game 1, absolutely wild. We hop in for our second here, this time with Mahodo on the Japanese, going up against Deniska's Roots. He loves this Civ. Let's see if it can carry him through to a game 3 or if we're done in 2. Yeah, these are just the bread and butter civs. We're on Sunken Lands, a map that just kind of dictates these pseudo-pro scout civs, I want to say, as well as these mainly night-focused civs. I think there's just something about Sunken Lands that makes it feel quite hard to wall yourself in safely. So we've seen a lot of cavalry spam, which in fairness kind of fits. In general, I'd say this season we are deep into a cavalry spamming meta, and have been for a while. Even after the pro scout nerfs, it doesn't really seem to have shifted the needle that much. But Mahodo with the spears on the opening is an interesting choice into Rus. Yeah, it's not that you can't find value, it's just that sometimes it's harder. Especially with Deniska's spawn. Oh my god, he could have set this up so nicely. I don't think he realized straight away. Like one hunt cabin here, and then one here, I think just protects you. Because best case scenario, like, you know, Mahodo can burn this, but he can't stop you repairing it. Instead, he actually shifted it wider over here. That's a little bit surprising. I think what Denis is probably doing is thinking about high trade house down the line, because then you wedge it here, you chop this tree line instead, and you just have so much gold gen from that landmark. By the way, reminder, the winner of this has the honor of facing off against our reigning champion here in the midweek muster. Week number 3 of Season 2, Vortex. We'll be waiting for them. Denis and Mahodo, I mean, like, these two, very capable. You know, we've seen that Mahodo is capable of the higher ranks. 60th in the world currently. Deniska, on the other hand, has fallen a little bit down to 172nd. Yeah, last season finished in 77th place, though. So we are talking about, like, top players. It's impressive, actually, that we're getting to the point with, like, midweek musters where we can have these type of matchups in the round of 32. I think my nightmare fuel when you start these type of weekly circuits is having a situation where you don't get competent competitive matchups until quarterfinals and beyond. Or even worse, could you imagine if you only get competitive in semis? I mean, don't get me wrong, we got some front runners, right? When people look at this bracket, they're going to immediately be thinking Vortex, B, Lucifron, Wham, Anatan as your front runners. But then there's a lot of people nibbling at the heels. We've seen people like Numenar and Kilyadi definitely very capable of this, of outcomes that would be favorable. Even sort of last week was almost able to beat Wham, which is wild to think about. You wouldn't have ever said that just a few months back. What makes the tournament B tier instead of A tier? I think it's prize pooling, but I need to talk to the Liquipedia admins on how they brain that, because technically we should count as, I think, A tier now? Maybe even S tier, because if you rank the tournament collectively instead of by week, then our prize pool competes with, like, EGCs. So we're just going to speed up a tiny bit here, because we're only waiting for the tech ups. I mean, Mahodo, how does he want to play this? He actually got a really good spawn. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? Yeah, like the deer's basically on top of the berries. That's a dream. You could technically just outpost this area and block a lot. And then, like, short wall to keep the deer in. It's not a bad idea. That's actually a very smooth way of denying pro scouts. Which you've got to assume Rus are going for. They're always going for pro scouts. Wait, did he just lose? I think he must have taken TC fire. The fact that scouts just killed a spear concerns me deeply. Wait, what? That's like being an F1 racer and losing to a toy car. I don't know how that works, but let's just assume it happens. Villager? It's going to be able to keep repairing, right? I think it's very difficult for Deniska to be killed with these workers. But Mahodo is at least going to keep frustrating him to repair. We do have an archery action, which I think you're happy with your Mahodo. You just want to kind of get something out your opponent. Slows down the pro scout play a little bit. Wait, hold on a sec. I think we have another live series we could have gone with, but they didn't ping. We'll have to catch it a little bit later. That's unfortunate. I do prefer a live series. Deniska, just very expensive investment now. Double archer for 1 spear doesn't feel great. I actually wonder if he needed to do it at all. Like, he can't see what we can. It's just literally 1 spearman with 24 HP. First scout's now on the way. We'll have 5 scouts to play with. But once again, like, it comes back to this hunting cabin placement. Deniska kind of done this to himself. If he just places the hunting cabin here, and then this second one here, I think it's very difficult for Mahodo to assault. Very easy for him to get baited into TC range with placement. Mahodo. Whoop, there's the Yuumi. Wait, it's going to be a 1-1-1. Okay. Interesting. I thought he might just go Yuumi plus the spears, but it's obviously risky that way when you're up against archers already. Mahodo. Let me do the maths. I'm pretty sure if you just gather deer, it's kind of slightly better than level 2 wheelbarrow. Because you get 50% increase, 0.69, so you increase by 0.35. So that puts you at like 1.4? 1.04? Whereas if you go survival techniques on deer, you get 15% increase at 0.84, which puts you up to about 0.96. So yeah, berries are still better. But like technically doing the survival techniques and yoinking the deer hurts Deniska down the line, right? Maybe he just doesn't think that Deniska will be able to take his deer. Ended up taking out the archer. Spears are starting to arrive, at least the one that's left over with the Yuumi. Yuumi are great at denying pro scouts, by the way. They're able to just run and gun alongside you. You missed GUA? Yeah, we weren't able to catch his series this week. He went up against sort of in the round of 32. It was a 2-0 in the end. Good timing, the Steel Arrow. I am a little bit concerned for Deniska now. Okay, Knights is a cool steer as long as you hide it. And that it's not exactly hidden. Was there room there? Maybe. You could have even been gambling and snuck it back here. Remember, Knights is very slow to scale, so you need it to be hidden information. Otherwise, it can get hard counted, especially considering that Mahodo already has a Rax opening. Well, the good news for Deniska might be the fact that Mahodo will keep chasing the scouts instead. So we will get that knight out, uncontested. Yeah, only 1 spear in total. More's coming in the back to Deniska. Okay, this is... Yeah, no, guys. This is the high trade house placement. Cha-ching. Are you kidding me? He can even just add farms in around this later. This is a really nice position for Deniska. Hot damn. What a landmark placement. Get your numbers in for that one, folks. And Mahodo? Has he gone a bit too hard into Yuumi? It's tricky because you want enough to block both sides. Does reveal the one knight. How does the rest of Deniska's Mahodo rather spawn compare? Because we talked about this deer being great for him to yoink. The back gold is fairly wallable, but quite far out there. Gold reserves for Deniska is a little bit underwhelming. Wait, is that his 4K? What? That is a horrible 4K. If this was any other Civ, you'd be asking for a remake. But Rus don't need gold, so who cares? Or at least they don't need to touch gold, you know? Rus are these really, like, really elitist, fancy-antsy people. Like, oh, pick up a pickaxe? What's wrong with you savages? We're just going to stick our hands deep inside this dead animal, and then we'll get gold. Okay, so Mahodo here in the tech up will react in kind. Horse Archer spam now from Deniska. This is like where I think this matchup can get a bit tricky for Japan from what I've seen in the past. Is like, in theory, you want to just mass horsemen to deal with that, but it doesn't feel nice to do at the start of castle. Also feels weird into Rus Knights. But if you just go mounted samurai, horse archers are problematic. If you go Onimusha, horse archers are just a better version of Onimusha. Because remember, Onimusha, they have lower base damage, and also they cost more. It's a crap deal. Good start here by Mahodo, though. Gets the snipes. High trade house, 166 gold. Bahabada-habada-ha. That is delicious and probably nutritious. And no, Yuumi don't attack slower than horse archers. They attack the same speed. That's false advertising, sir. 2.12 on both sides. I just can't, man. What a trade house. And we talked about the later implications. He could just add in farms so nicely here. It's already guarded. And no, that's my point. Remember, Onimusha are same attack speed as horse archers. Like, technically you have more range with Onimusha, but it usually doesn't matter because of the attack point. Like, it takes you so long to attack that Cav will gap close you anyway. That's why usually you just see Japan in those situations do their own mounted samurai plus Yuumi. Like, Yuumi is actually a lot better for counterplaying horse archers. It's really nice, actually, because usually what happens is horse archers will just raw hard overkill Yuumi. And Yuumi never really overkill. Right? It's possible, but like the gauge point is much, much different. Much higher. Pro Scouts. He's going to be scared away. Denis not able to get that home. But over time, he started to reap the rewards, right? He's already got the initial deer home. Now he's playing the wide flanks, which is difficult for Mahodo to react to if he's playing too hard into Yuumi. We are getting the first mounted samurai queued up, though. And I want to see people clicking that link. Reminder, guys, we are working with AMD this week. If you guys have not got your hands on the Ryzen AMDs, you're missing out. Reminder, when you see those type of sponsors, clicking the links helps us convince them to come back and sponsor us more so that we can have amazing events like this. But even in the round of 32, the boyos deliver. Yuumi now with a dive in. A little bit ambitious from Mahodo. Yeah, veterancy wasn't there yet. Also, his mounted samurai timing's been a little bit slow. Got delayed by other things, right? So these knights going to fare a lot better for Deniska. They've already been upgraded. Full cavalry comp, and this is where the game can get scary for Japan. Goes to the snipe out onto the horse archers. Yuumi getting buffed up. The problem right now is the front line is failing him. Yeah, so he's just losing on melee mosh pit. Deniska, this allows him to push forward. Remember, horse archers make phenomenal raiders as well. Mahodo. We're going to start a step retreat, buying a little bit of time. Still to arrow 2 on the way, but being mirrored by Deniska's ranged armor. It takes a while to kill these knights. And right now, like, Deniska is brilliant. He's trading out bare minimum evenly, right? A knight for a knight. And then whatever he can scrape together off the Yuumi kills. But Mahodo does get rid of that front line. New knight arriving just in time. Man, just think about how terrible these units would be without that movement speed. It really is a game changer. That's relic dragged home. So Mahodo should be capable of at least 2 relics here. But Deniska, this might just be a reminder to him to now get the monastery online. So far, it's been missing. There it is. Yeah, so it just came in.
Now
Yo, what's up, Jondo? Thank you very much for the raid, mate. Hope you had a good stream. Welcome, one and all. The KPMM action continues here. Bonjour, bonjour. I immediately recommend you a Threadripper. Dude, Threadrippers are awesome. I've got the Threadripper, 9950X. Honestly, most of you guys will be good with a 9800X 3D, though. If you want gaming performance, get a 9800X 3D. AMD are the boss for that. I'll live by them, I'll swear by them. Now, would we swear on a game free here? Deniska's starting to get that critical mass of horse archers together. We said Yuumi's a good answer, but you're meant to be ahead. You have to be ahead. The gap doesn't really exist, though. The Knights held in reserve. The other scary thing is that, like, if you can't get ahead on numbers, you're approaching the impossible fight point. If Deniska gets into Boy's Fortitude, you just die. Good micro there, Mahodo. Just target firing down one by one still. It's coming at an expensive price for him as well. Deniska's starting to build a slight knight lead here. Does bait him back, though. Oh, Deniska, bit overextended. Might want to consider a reset, because Mahodo is taking him to the dry cleaners. It dives in, still getting the one-hit kills. Oh, this is sick. He just about has enough to still make it clean. Finally gets to a point where he can't one-hit kill. He may have just done enough right there. I mean, archer count, horse archer count that is, down to 4. I still feel like Mahodo has been lagging behind on Mountain Samurai production though, or rather just being sniped out before he get it on. And the high trade house now is 176 gold. Bruh. What are you smoking? Who needs to pick up relics when you've got high trade house? Ooh. This is like when you're like, hey, you want to hit the gym? And someone's like, no, thank you. I've got my own personal trainer. You're like, okay, I mean, that's cool. Like, who's your personal trainer? Oh, you know, I just get trained by, like, by Tom Daly. Yeah, he just trains me. Michael Phelps comes by occasionally as well. What? When you're working a backswing and your personal, like, golfer is actually Tiger Woods. 176 gold, man. Not quite King of the Hill levels of Roos High Trade House, but let's be totally real. It's not that far off either. Here we go. He's about to get the final tier, by the way, so the number's going to go up again. Mahodo with the dive in. We'll find a few worker kills now. We should have a Yorishiro drop at home, which would explain Mahodo's lead. Yeah, so he's scaling villages. Mountain Samurai count is still somewhat lacking, and the Yumi count, respectable, but not crazy. Horse Archer's just doing a good job at trying to target fire down the heavy cav. Yeah, so you're seeing what Denis is trying to do. He's getting hit on his Horse Archers, but he's using them to unlock the Knight potential. A relic being dragged home, but at the end, Denis is the winner there. He's got 5 relics because of the high trade house. 187 gold now. And no, the tier system is 100, 400, and then 1,000. It got changed a while ago. It had to be changed because you never fail to unlock all bounties now, whereas the old system had to be low because it was based on limited resources. I wonder if Deniska could just switch Horseman. Like, actually, Horseman slaps pretty hard here, right? There's not much to deter you either. Your opponent's always losing his Mounted Samurai to your Horse Archers. And then the Horseman, like, you'd be getting double the count that you are of Knights, right? That's enough to just chase Yumi away. Like, Horseman would actually make for a sick switch for Roos. It's even more efficient than what I just suggested, because you're not just getting 2 Horsemen for the price of a Knight. You're getting 2 units instead of 1 that get 25 more health. And their health is normally lower anyway. So, you know, instead of adding 25 HP, effective HP to your fight, you're adding 50 effective HP to your fight, right? I can't believe Deniska's been allowed to do this the whole time, but Mahodo never really had ample Knights to dive this west side. Props to him for sneaking out into the bore at an earlier point. He still has a little bit of deal left to play with. Farm count for Mahodo is looking a little bit better. We're now up at, what, 19? Not crazy. He's allowing him to stay competitive with the Roos. And no, Roos Horse Archers have better damage than Onimusha. Onimusha have better damage if they're fighting into heavy units. But if you're talking about their base damage, Onimusha actually start a lot lower at 10, while costing more resource overall. That's why Horse Archers always beat Onimusha. Onimusha have no real big upside to brag about. Even when you get the Uma Bannerman, they kind of even up to Horse Archers. And then don't get me started on Boy's Fortitude. Yes, the Bannerman increases the damage, but if you're an Onimusha and you start at 10 damage, you're already 2 damage behind. So the Bannerman at best can bring you on par to the Horse Archer damage, but then you're still losing Boy's Fortitude and the fact you need an Uma Bannerman. Right? Like, you know when you have these kind of like hyper Furycraft situations of all the auras that make you better, but then you realize how hard it is to use them all. Think that. Whereas Roos is, haha, me A-click. Or haha, me A-click pretty hard here. 10 Knights. He's got Mahodo running scared. Oh my, an overextension. Mahodo has to turn around, but now the Horse Archers get the easy kills. Yeah, Yumi just take a century to finish these boys off. Deniska able to get the chase on now. Mahodo starts stepping away. He's optimizing his kills around the injured where possible. Yeah, the funny thing is actually, like, Deniska can make Mahodo's life a lot harder if he brings a Warrior Monk. Remember, you get the +1 armor, which is huge against low base damage infantry. Not to mention the +2. Yeah, you want to talk about the Bannerman, imagine the Warrior Monk factor. We just don't talk about it because of the complexities we mentioned. And now a hunkered fight here. Mahodo not able to run away quick enough. He got caught in the middle of an Onimusha switch. Ambitious choice. But the front line is going to be broken past, though. Only a few knights remaining. Spears are going to come in to deal with that. The veterancy is already in. The numbers are with Mahodo, and the eco is definitely scaling towards him. But the quality of army, like, we've got it neck and neck right now. The spear switch actually might be the game changer. Yeah, Mahodo kind of caught Deniska off guard with that. Deniska also has food problems, right? Like, he's sitting at 3 farms. Boar should be running out soon. I believe it's... Yes, okay, 700. He's got lots. All right, food issues don't exist. He's fine. But remember, Mahodo has done the infinite switch much quicker. He's up to 20 farms now. Still. Is that Daimyo 1 or 2? Yeah, 2. I actually think maybe Mahodo, you just sack Mounted Samurai production and just do Spear Yumi. Because now, if you're able to blob the numbers quick enough, you have a dive point here, right? And it would be beneficial for breaking this west side. Deniska? He's cutting reinforcements. He's going to force a brash reaction from the Mounted Samurai. This is the other thing you want to be careful of. Different control groups for Spears and Yumi. Otherwise, your Yumi don't move fast anymore. This is a weird wedge, though, from Deniska. It makes sense to raid when you're behind on count, but he's not raiding. He's just standing his ground. What an odd game. And now, 5.5 minutes left on the Sacred Site timer. I mean, Mahodo. Win condition looks clear as day here. That's freaking wild. I really thought that Deniska would either take up raiding with the Knights or maybe just hunker down. I don't know. Like, it just seemed like he was still trying to win the main engagement, which is just such an oddity when you're this far down. And now the... What? Mahodo. Brother, chill. I don't think I've seen someone wall sunken lands like this so far. No, the wall's up. You should be able to just hunker down and prep more farms, right? Like, and then, I mean, could you just rush castle into Imp? As in, just drop the Shogun at castle? Like the Castle Crow, rather? Probably safer just to scale full 200 comp. Deniska has come back in a big way with Knights, by the way. 12 and scaling. Spear count from Mahodo is keeping similar pace. These are such ambitious walls, though. You just don't really see people walling like this anymore. It's so expensive in the mid-game. Not because of the wood. It's more because of the time. Remember, walling like this takes twice as long as it did just a year ago. Knights are going to creep in on the east side. Mahodo is exposed out there, and his army isn't nearby. Nice little chip raid. Could be the beginning of what Denis needs to get back into this. His farm count is a bit underwhelming, though. Yeah, 10 going up soon to 20. Remember, Mahodo's been stable on 20 plus for a while. He's hitting 30. Nice. Able to find a few raid kills. Yeah, this is like the sad thing about what he's trying to do with Japanese. It's why I'm not the biggest fan of like Sacred Site win conditions with this Civ. Japan might be, alongside Mongols, the hardest civ to get Sacred Site win conditions with. Because other civs, when the timer ticks down, they just add in a castle. Your opponent has to come to you, right? This is the poor man's castle. This is the best thing you can muster up. Still not as bad as Mongols, but it's pretty bad. Army's going to make that move. Deniska. 18 knights marching. However, the army's nearby. It's got 15 spears, 15 mounted samurai. This is going to be very difficult. Deniska going to need the fight of his life. Fortifications are on the way. Army's going to try to force a reaction so that knights can't get the burn, but Deniska is committed for the kill. Flash comes through. Now, he got the Saint's Blessing duration, but he never brought the Warrior Monks, right? No, he did. Okay, they're glowed up now. There we go. So he gets the strike in, but it's still not going to be good enough. Oh, God. Sure, Warriors, Monks are nice. Saint's Blessing is nice, but have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Bannerman? As it's going to be banning Deniska out of this series. Mahodo looking to make it a solid 2-0 victory. 2.5 minutes left on the clock, but you don't need to wait for that clock. To pull one out of the Roos handbook here, it's full Divine Send. Solid game out of Mahodo. Yumi early on, continued to scale it throughout the game. Proves to be the undoing of the Roos. The Horse Archer comp never really able to get truly online. Now they dive in. Niska trying to hold on, but it's just too late. The army's too small. So, guys, it's going to be a 2-0 victory and a bloody impressive one from Mahodo. Usually the hardest civ to play for Sacred Site victory, but when you build a lead like this, anything is possible. Oh, anything but a Deniska victory. So, folks, that means that we are going to be seeing Vortix going up against Mahodo. One that I have high expectations for after how cleanly Mahodo executed here. Alright, guys. That's another series done. So we know we've got Vortix vs Mahodo, which we can check in on shortly. Confirmation, by the way, we do have Wham versus sort of in about an hour and a half. Okay. So, what I think we'll look to do, I could probably have food now, and then we can come back and we can maybe go Core versus Kilyadi. Oh, actually, like when I come back, we'll have Anatam versus Recon. Yeah, so that's cool. We can watch Anno versus Recon when I come back. So, guys, what I'm going to do is what we normally do is I go and eat now. We don't need to end the stream. We can just keep the fun going. So, let me mark up the results. Those that didn't catch it, the Voldemar versus Sass was a bloody impressive 2-0 for Voldemar. Really clean. Very crazy strategy from Sass in game number 1. But yeah, there's the outcome so far. So, when I come back, we'll be having a look in on Anatand versus Recon. And then after that, we can probably close out with Wham versus Sword Off. Maybe we'll do the Kilyadi Core. If not, we'll have Kilyadi Core for tomorrow. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to get a video for you guys to watch. Something entertaining to tide you over. And when I come back, more Midweek Muster live. Sound good? Sounds amazing. What doesn't is my husky throat. Whew. Okay. What to watch? Should I go for something a bit further back so it's not fresh in your memories? Maybe? Yeah? Let's see what we got here. I mean, we could do a sort of game. Or, who is this? No, wait. How far back do we go? I don't know. Like, sometimes I don't like doing the most recent because then you guys are like, oh, I've already seen this. Whereas, like, blast from the past type feeling. It's like, haha, I don't remember this game. Let's watch it. Let's go with... Louis versus B? Oh, dude, this game is crazy. I think this is like the first game we ever had on that new map from the Hymns Cup. So let me update tile. Up next, Anatan versus Recon. All right, enjoy the game, guys. Really cool one. By the way, reminder, !AMD. We'll talk a little bit about our sponsor when we get back, but you guys should click that link. It helps out immensely. Thank you very much. But let me see. Are we good to go? Yes. All right. So I'm going to switch over this video now. Have fun. It's an epic game. I promise you. And I'll be back soon.
Friday show matches being set up and sponsored by Hymns. Big shout out to them for getting involved in the Age of Empires 4 scene. And we had to kick off with an absolute classic. One that tends to always deliver. We've got 3D Clans B up against Team Elephant's Louis MT. And we even created a new map. Look at that mini-map. Look at it. Does it look like anything? What if I was to tell you that Hymns Hair Loss Prevention is sponsoring the stream? Oh, that's right. Receding. Big shout out to Caillou for being so quick on iterating this process. We conceptualized this map literally less than a week ago, and we've birthed a beauty here. Not pretty is going to be the hairline here on top of this lad. If you want to avoid that, make sure you check out Hymns. But this is going to be an interesting format. So, with the Hymns Cup, we are going to have this as the home map for half the games. That's right. Every odd game in the series will be on this odd map. Even games will be on different ones like Dry Arabia Gorge to keep a little bit of freshness. But this is a new experience for both these players. They haven't really had much time to sink their teeth into this, seeing as it was made available to 1 or 2 days ago. And they both did go for Pro Scout civs. Yeah, Malians versus Chinese. This matchup, I think, has changed a little bit. I feel like China actually has stopped Pro Scouting as much, which was surprising. Or they do it on a delay. And yet, we do have the little baby pit mines. Really big shout out. That's smart detail by Caillou. You do have a good gold vein, but it spawns 40 your base outside of TC range. So compared to like Carmel, this is a lot more reasonable. The gold is more reachable for Civ like Japan. It's just there has to be some risk for that gold. So yeah, Louis, he does get that safe gold. Unfortunately for him, it is next to a tree line, so you can't fully surround it. So a little bit of an underwhelming pit mine. An Imperial Academy coming in for B. This is going to be a really good one. By the way, no fish.
All right, hopefully that doesn't do that again. Sorry, guys.
No fish on this map whatsoever. There is only 2 relics in appearance straight away. Because the others, just like those hair follicles, beneath the top of your head, they need to be massaged back out. In the case of your hair follicles, Hymns will be able to provide that. But in the case of these ruins, villages will be able to do that. So remember, Forgotten Ruins are a point of interest we haven't seen much so far. It is one that allows you to dig up relics by putting a villager inside and getting stone in return. You actually get a really good stone rate, by the way. 60 stone a minute is better than a villager would normally get. And then after 6 minutes, a relic will spawn. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool things going on this map. Honestly, I don't think it's just a meme map. I think there's more than just memes here. Because the interesting thing about the Forgotten Ruins that hasn't really been leveraged so far, well, in maps I've seen officially designed, is the idea that it can change the fast castle meta. Because fast castle meta is always just about getting up and getting relics. There's only 2 on the field straight away, so you have to rethink the plan quite deeply. Is it going to be a new map for the ED thing? I'm not spoiling it. You'll have to wait and see, which is why you have to tune in every Friday. That'll be for month number 2, which weirdly enough starts mid-May, but we'll get to that. For now, we focus on the hair loss. Yo, this is like a mini game we could play. Who has more hair between the 2 CS people? Okay, she's got some long locks there. Well, okay, so I think maybe the Chinese people are more bald. No, okay, bro, this is hard. Everyone's got a lot of hair. This is tough for anyone who actually, like, doesn't. This is probably why you want to check out the pills. Might be able to solve this. Who knows? You could actually have, like, a man bun. You could be role-playing as a Chinese villager in, like, next Warlord, maybe. I never realized that they actually had that much hair. Like, everyone's got this cut? I guess not the taxmen. What do you guys reckon? I reckon the taxmen are actually secretly bald. They give me that vibe. So we should have the Pro Scouts coming in a second here for both players. Maybe... So is Louis thinking of a different direction, possibly? You could try to play block at a Pro Scouts, but no, there you go. Okay, so the way that Malians usually do this is normally it's better to get stables up a bit quicker than this, but he prioritized the housing the second pit mine. The reason is that you can start pumping out scouts to deny the enemy scouts. But the way he's done this, it feels like he's going to prime Pro Scouts and then pump the scouts afterwards. Chinese in old times do not cut their hair. Yeah, but they've all got perfectly the same length man buns. Let's at least get some versatility in there. I mean, this is sending the wrong message to people like Louis. It's like saying, hey, Louis, if you want, you could just literally have the longest hair imaginable. He might not be able to. Game could be lying to him. And yes, the little UI will say 3 out of 2 pit mines, by the way. That's due to the Mansa Quarry. That does count as one in the eyes of the game. So, archery range follow-up's going to be there. Normally, the thought process here is that Chinese is going to open with racks to counter your Pro Scouts play, which is already happening. So, great read by Louis. And he did scout that out first. So, it wasn't just a blind faith play. He got eyeballs on the problem. Oh, by the way, B, he caught on to something Louis didn't. Wait, does Louis not know about this? That's wild. He didn't capture the merchant camp. That's a really big deal in the early game. Gives you an extra villager in your economy. So really nice to play by B. Yeah, there are 4 points of interest in this map. 3 of them are the Forgotten Ruins, and the 4th one is the merchant camp. Nicely done. Great denial there by Louis. Yeah, it feels like B's under a lot of pressure right now. And Louis, it's kind of funny, actually. I thought he'd be going for the archers. He skips it straight into the javelins, so prioritizes the more desirable unit. And this is a no Pro Scouts build. Okay, so color me surprised. I thought he was going to do it on delay. It's possible he still goes back for it. Just it'll be heavily delayed. So he's fully focused on denying his opponent, which is why it's a little bit surprising to go Javs, considering how slow they are at killing spears. Now, you might be wondering, if the eventual goal for China, as it normally is to go fast castle, why doesn't he just move out and garrison villages in these Forgotten Ruins and get stone? You don't want to, because reminder, you have to capture it first, and then if it gets decaptured, your villager gets ejected. So always something to be aware of. Donzo's now getting ended in by Louis. Okay, this is interesting. So he goes Javs when it doesn't counter anything, now follows up Donzo's. He really thought B was going to follow up archers, didn't he? It would have made sense, guys, because the thing you have to remember here is that these scouts do not have any ranged armor. The warrior scouts do not get bonus damage either. So archers are actually a really good counter to them, ironically. Oh, I never checked the predictions either. 68% for Louis. A lot of belief in the Malians. Okay, Horseman, Swim, and Flood coming through. B loves to do this, by the way. He's a really big fan of mass melee blobs. Makes sense. Javelins won't be able to handle it very early on. And the other benefit is if you start to push Louis all the way back, he's going to forfeit the pit mine as well. So yeah, really good position in B. What happened with the gold? My God, man. Get it under control. Yeah, you can tell that B got screwed over on his Pro Scouts timing. Those early deers getting intercepted slowed him down. In fact, right now he has a lot of inefficiency here. He's realizing it. Because the logic is he was gathering gold at a logical pace with his build order to efficiently reach castle. But it didn't play out that way due to the blockage on the deer. And here we go, clock tower on the way. Louis' choice to go javelins is starting to feel a little bit weird now. I think, was he planning to go Farimba? It feels like this is a gradual Farimba build. But B knows that build like the back of his hand, or well, I guess the back of his wings, because he's B. And that becomes problematic. Like, Nesta Bs can now be a counter to the javelins. Lancer players on the menu because B did get access to the deer in the end. Gold is running thin a little bit, but unlike that hairline at the top of the map, there's plenty still underneath here. We've got the gold veins for him to tap into.
Vinted's new electronics category means tech is new again, and you can save again. And with our optional electronics verification service, you get peace of mind again. Shop pre-owned electronics today. Want it? Buy it on Vinted.
There's a gym group round the corner with actual stair climbers. Get lots of top quality equipment from just $14.99 a month.
Will a Hulk on the back of the base be a play? Potentially. The gold is out of range, so like we will definitely see matchups where people try to harass. So the thing is, there's another gold on the middle. So I think water play is going to be a delayed strategy, because if you block the back gold, it means you don't have enough economy to then block my front. Nice reaction by Louis. Has the correct idea. Straight away pivots into Musafadi. He understands there's going to be heavily armored units coming. The question is whether he'll be able to keep pace with what B is up to, because we have also got the siege on the way. I can't believe this. This has been like, what, 8 minutes of the merchant camp? It's definitely helped him a lot here. Louis is going to be creeping around the south side. We intentionally put the little beard in there because I thought it'd be actually quite cool for a longer rotation to sneak in. Louis wrapping towards that back gold. B. First nest of bees is about to arrive, so Louis will not want to be here anymore. He needs to consider backing up. Also, just look at the palace guard. 3 palace guard should be enough to scare this away. Jav's also just not a succinct character spearman. I don't know. Something just feels wrong with this comp. Louis... Did it have to be Farimba? Kind of feels like more of a curse than a blessing here, the idea. This clash feels pretty cursed as well. Nest of Bees comes out to play. Louis needs to retreat. Behind this, he is at least starting to stockpile towards castle gradually. He's not really rushing it. Yeah, and this is where he backs up entirely. So the goal here will be to waste Bees time. Now, this is where I actually think this map's very interesting dynamics-wise. Castle Rush offers up a lot of benefit, but it doesn't offer up the most oppressive benefit it's most known for. Relic Rush. There's only 2 relics in appearance on the map straight away. So B, although you could go for it, probably get them, it wouldn't feel like a GG for Louis right now, who's probably still thinking about Farimba. You know, I still don't think Louis knows about the north of the map. I don't want to say he didn't check the map beforehand, but it's feeling a little bit like it, actually. Especially considering that he opened with the Warrior Scouts. Like, theoretically, Malian should always win this merchant camp. Oh, you know what's a sick thought, actually? What if Louis goes Mansa Musafadi instead of the Javeliniers? It's unfortunate for him because it actually would be such a smart idea. The reason it's unfortunate is B's already getting into Springles. Springles will solve for the Musafadi. Nest of Bees solves for the Javelins. It feels like everything about Louis' comp has been countered. And there's no way this is Fulani. He literally has 0 cow. Yeah, Farimba coming in. Maybe Freeborn? Freeborn, they don't get bonus against Siege, though. It's only against ranged, right? They're very tanky, but that's kind of it. And the merchant camp gives 45 resources a minute. So it's akin to having an extra villager, which is why it's highly sought after in the early phase of the game. I wonder if B considers the relics now. Because it's relics and sacred sites, so it could actually turn into a lot of gold for him, which is important because he is adding an additional siege. I think he's just guarding this area to get the extra deer back. Crossbow switch up in his mind. And it is going to be the Mansa Musafadi. This is so rare. You very rarely see this anymore. The Mansa Musafadi upgrade, for those who don't know, turns you into quite the chunky boy. When you're vetted up, you're going to have 4 melee armor as a base. Makes it very hard to melee mosh pit into Mansa Musafadi. Now, the counterplay is spring ults, which B has, but the downside is going to be mobility. That's going to be on Louis' side. And you can see he's intentionally griefing around these stealth forests to try and leverage that. So B is going to slow down and back up. And I'm pretty sure there are no EGC games today. EGC plays on the weekend. We rule the weekdays. Really fascinating first game. I've got a huge smile on my face because it's a new map. I think it's kind of cool. It's going to be interesting to see how players adapt to this as the series goes on. But also the fact that we just see Matsumi Safadi. A strategy that has felt dead for 2+ months. There's a lot of nest Bs though. I think the only downside for B is he hasn't protected his flanks. So you can actually just get poked at like this. Yeah, this is a negative of siege. It completely just locks you into the spot. You can't move. Something that Louis will be all too well aware of. Is why we usually see Louis walls when he's the one playing Chinese. The other thing about this pick from B, first pick priority, partially because it's such a good pick. B plays it well, but it's also just a huge denial to Louis, who thrives on the Chinese. But the thing is, even if he can't have it himself, he should have a deeper understanding than most anyone at this stage of this Civ.
Why do I get 5% cashback on everything I buy? Because I buy everything on my Amex Cashback Everyday credit card. New card members get 5% cashback for the first 5 months, then up to 1% depending on spend and no fee. That's right, no fee with the Amex Cashback Everyday credit card.
B is not going to run out of wood anytime soon, so you'd think just build some palisade walls, but that's not going to last very long against Musafadi. I think B realistically needs a stone wall, essentially across the top here. So you stone walls, you go, and then it funnels your opponent. But the problem is he needs to be careful. Yeah, backside he realizes it. You can sneak all the way around. This is another design element intentionally. You can go all the way around these tree lines and catch people off guard. Which, by the way, feels balanced because it takes so long to do. It's a trade-off. I think B's going for a keep drop, by the way. On the stone or in the middle of the map? Oh. Yeah, no, on the stone makes a lot of sense because it secures the tree line. And then you can just come back for a keep drop later. Okay, he goes 8k. 8k, that's also going to be Forgotten Ruins close by. So we could see him pivoting towards relics now. Or in the coming 2 or 3 minutes. The other thing is occupying these Forgotten Ruins will also generate stone for additional keeps. In fact, with 3 of them on the map, 60 a pop, that means you end up getting 360 stone per Forgotten Ruins. Even the north side, though. Oh, a single villager is going to get scraped here. Scrap that fort. Timmy didn't get the memo, so one gets left behind. Army's now arriving, though. B, he could split up the nest of Bs a little bit to go north and south at the same time. You won't get the full wallop, but half a wallop is worth it. That Louis will be able to duck and dive out of there, though. Still, the castle's up, right? Like, he's blocked from just now counter-raiding through the center. Does feel like he needs more protection, though. He has at least got the walls up, or rather the outposts up, so you can see the threats coming. Undermesh only now on the way, by the way. I mean, he hasn't had many reasons to build it, but the castle's going to be a real big nuisance. I think my worry for Louis is this type of strategy usually falls flat because it is a one and done. If you lose one fight, there's no comeback, you don't have the economy for it. And that's a fact that remains true in this type of game as well. Oh my god, I just realized the minimap was briefing us all along. There we go. Sorry about that. There Nah, I'm not going to ruin it. There was someone dangling out the bomb. It's fixed. A bit of raid coming in here. Nothing too substantial in terms of damage. I just remembered something we're missing from the overlay. I'll fix that after game 1. And B is doing it. I mean, in fairness, he was doing it earlier than Louis was last season. We've got the T-Wincy walls. Not for the STBs, though, so the trebuchets to start crawling in. Oh, this is... I mean, this is karma, really. So we'll better start sieging away at the income, essentially, of Louis MT here. We do have the Musafadi upgrade on the way, so it's giving the local knowledge for the healing. But has B got eco issues now? The deer's almost gone. He's got a lot of wood. He needs to start thinking about that granary transition. Problem is, where do you build it? Like, where is it safe? This is a crafty thing of what Louis is doing. He's always looming, waiting. Because he understands that B at some point has to build wide. All he has to do is bide his time with a quality army. 73 Mansa Musafadi. Decent front line. One that will definitely hold us own against the pass guard. B is now reacting with archers, so that will be his counterplay. But he's only in the infant stage of that. Now, part of the reason why B is going archers here is because it's the counter, but the other part is he needs to. He can't afford to keep slogging out food-heavy units. Wood is the thing he has a lot of access to. Trebs from both sides. Looks like the castle for B is not going to last much longer here. Maybe he just sends a small group in for a dive. Yeah, so he's pulling back some troops to defend. Now others to head on in. Needs to be careful because that is possibly going to be a loss of springles. Luckily, the extra health means not even a single one goes down. North side, I mean, he's got full eyes on. And then here we go. There is going to be a dive in. Warrior Scouts on the way to try and break through the wall. A castle about to drop here. 94 HP. It's not going to be able to stay up, though. Castle down. B strong point in the center removed. No sign of a new one coming. He goes for the poor man's version. The Barbican now being dropped in. He knows he needs a castle to survive this. He's not ready. I mean, this is the awkward thing, I think, for B. Like, conceptually, his strategy is meant to be Springles to counter Mansa. But Louis is just doing such a good job of patiently diving the sides. Never overcommitting. Just ensuring that B can't do anything else but run around his own base. Well, that's embarrassing. Can you just... Okay. But okay, that actually might have worked out for the better. I think B maybe reacts straight away if he sees all of them. I don't know why 4 of them were revealed, though. If B had enough. I think he's getting a little bit sick of this. Yeah, so he just tanks the raid as he's beginning the granaries. Oh, no. This isn't enough damage. He needs more. Louis now looking to jump in on the south side as well. Spirals are going to be able to do some decent damage here, but won't be able to keep up. And the tree line now in trouble. B isn't reacting to this at all. No, right now he's distracted. Starts to pull away. Javelins Musafadi here, then go for the body blocks. It's going to turn into a massacre. That's 15 worker kills now on the board for Louis. More to come. And B, this is what he feared most. Louis has been an absolute scourge with that north-south side creep. 9 villages up. With plenty more than that with the pit mines and whatnot. And it just feels like the Nesta Bees weren't able to go deep enough, fast enough here to do anything substantial. Louis loses maybe 10 units maximum. Gets away scot-free. And now I think B just has to go. Like, this is it. After you take a hit like that, you can't slow roll this anymore. Now, one important thing for B that he is missing right now. Did you notice it? He does not have a scout. He does not have an outpost here. Which means the Mansa Musafadi could easily catch him off guard. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit worried for that reason. I mean, in fairness, the Musafadi aren't immediately going to munch down on the SBs. They're very tanky, but still. It will give him the gap close. The B definitely can't afford to experience it. Spear reaction pushes away the north side. This is just... this almost feels toxic the way he's doing this. I mean, B just looks completely handcuffed. How is this still 24 minutes in the game? Louis like, oh, hey, that's pretty good. Can't believe we had this whole time. Big clash over it. Mansa Musafadi should be able to tank through a lot of this. Emo Southside. Oh, an ugly engagement for B to try. This is looking over at this rate. B, where's his comeback? The siege is kind of irrelevant if you have nothing to frontline for it. And he's running out of bio quick. This might be the most siege we've seen at 24 minutes in a game in a long time. Between the two of them, they have almost 80 population in the siege. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, those knob shots aren't looking so crazy. He's just trickling in one troop at a time and turning around for high-value storm shots. The problem I see in this game is like, B, in theory, if you can just get a direct fight, great, stronger. Louis just never giving it to him. We even have Louis now building his farms where he feels most safe. Like a little rat in the trees. Stealth Forest is going to be a saving grace for his economy. Oh my god, please, no. They have so much melee armor. It's like B. Wow, he's resorting to berries. I mean, he only has one granary. It's not exactly the type of income that keeps you competitive here. Then again, what happened to Louis' army? Oh my. I mean, I knew he was going to struggle without Fulani, but I didn't expect this much. They're both drained. This is a pretty cool game one, actually. Although it wasn't the most action-packed in the opening minutes, I think we can agree that like this has reached a point of both having that feeling of, okay, what's next? Like, you can tell they haven't been able to practice this map much with it being brand new. So there's an element of like, okay, I had this idea of a timing. He counteracted my timing. So now, what does the map offer? What can I do? Though that's a very important detail. He's not ranching them up though. The goal here should be to add in more farms and then start ranching these, so you just have better infinite food, making yourself more pop efficient. You do have a sofa switch from Louis. Spears are being built by B though. He's going repeater crossbows. Now, this would have been the solution to actually the Mansa Musafadi all along. Just obviously another slow unit. Like the biggest problem B has had in this game is an inability to react. And honestly, a lot of what he's building doesn't solve that problem. It exacerbates it. Oh yeah, villages. No textiles either. I mean, it's more than quick enough to build up. There are too many villages here though. So we'll end up losing a few. In fact, Louis not reacting right now. No, he's diving in the center. Finally realizes what's happening. He's going to lose all the surplus villages on the north side. The Nesta Bees will not commit to it, though. No, he kind of needs to get the troopers back home because there is a dive coming in. Musafadi under the farms. Every time he makes a move, there is almost in synchronicity a move on the opposite side of the map. Oh my god, though. Like, if Louis finds his way into Imperial, I think Mango's just got this on lock. But for now, Nesta Bees are still the king. So Louis has to be very careful the way he engages with the siege. Also, we did have some villagers trying to actually excavate here. And relics are now being picked up by B. Because, yeah, gold is becoming harder to access at this stage. I hate these two colored hair dyes. Yeah, it's like, do I look better with a pink beard or a green eye patch, you know? I'm never sure. Nestabee's moving in. Woo! Kiss my booby better. It stings. Big knob shot. 4 villagers survive. That is now Louis MT, notably down in economy and in need of some vengeance here. Trebs are moving in. Nestabees are now on the way to react to this play. So respect the mangonels. There's a dive of Sofa coming on through. The Spirals on the south side. Need to protect. The Sofa would be the counterplay to them, but there's not many of them actually reaching the siege yet. They're getting distracted on the backline ranged infantry. The Spirals might actually be able to save his bacon here from getting cooked. Nice pierce through there. Clears the units. And now the Nestabees can move in for the kills. Big hit, big scatter. Triple Spiral kill there. The clock tower effect on the Nestabees means they're way too tanky. Louis, half of the siege gone already. More to fall. I mean, this is it. This is the strike he was looking for. The Sofa flood was not there. Louis, Congo line of death into the mess. B able to stabilize, but it comes at a high price. Both of them just hemorrhaging so many villagers across this game, it feels like. Constantly kept in check. A B now with an overwhelming siege edge needs to look for a way to push in and truly punish Louis.
There's a gym group round the corner with actual free weights. Get lots of top quality equipment from just $14.99 a month.
Not just that. Yeah, the farm's got partially scudded, but he has a second granary set up, so B can afford to rebolster his troopers. Interesting that he's going into the Chiganu, so he was expecting Mansa Musadi. Ironically enough, the Spinman would have been the perfect guard. He's going to back up. This game is not going to end. This is crazy. I really wasn't expecting this in G1. You can get this on new maps occasionally, but more common, it feels like, is someone's idea is just so much better, and they just roll over the enemy. Crazy. Louis has not added in many more farms since we last checked, by the way. He's being carried by the cows, but ideally you want to stick them in ranches. Still hasn't happened. Oh, third granary set up. Does get spotted. Good rotation by the Sofa. The reaction incredibly slow at B. Doesn't immediately pull the villagers away. Spears do now arrive, but that's going to be him 10 down. At what stage do you just try for a second TC? Your head's in the minimap and you don't like it? Exclamation mark hymns. They might be able to help with that. Oh, they've helped fund me to deliver a beauty here. This is great. And reminder, we could have this 4 more times in this series. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Second TC it is. B finally accepts it's too much damage. So, there is, in theory at least, an opportunity for Louis. In reality, it doesn't really exist when you look at his military count. B has twice the army size. This is the thing. Louis is rated better, but B has fought much better. I wonder if Louis considers a second TC at all. Not really. From Orleans, you're probably going to want to be around 100 eco with ranchers as well. Logic being your units are of lower quality. Mansa Musafadi helps offset that problem a little bit, but it's still a very situational unit. Too much safe wood. So the theory was that while there's a lot of wood, the way it plays is obviously it creeps further away from your base. We might thin the tree line a bit, so it's more like this than this. I don't mind that idea. It's just tricky, I know, with the map gen tools, because basically that's being treated as like a one-tile thick thing. Sofas are back again, by the way. I mean, B might have the siege on his side, but the Sofa are the kings in this matchup right now. Not much of a grand answer to them currently. I mean, if you can get a full choke point fight, sure. Springald, Decisive, all of it shooting down, but Louis obviously doesn't want to ever give that. Alright, ones if you think Louis is going to win this, twos if you think B is going to take it. Okay, we're getting a little bit of back and forth there. I like that. It does feel almost impossible to call at this stage. Because even long term, both of them have passive gold gen. Very similar passive gold gen, in fact. Reminder, by the way, this map doesn't have trade either. So if you think, oh, well, Malian trade, no, that can't exist. It's a myth here. Louis now just trying to brute force his way in against spears. The crossbows are getting access, so she'd be able to sweep it aside. Nicely done, yeah. If he'd been bogged down on the spears, I think likely B just holds that, and it looks really bad for Louis. Instead, we better dive deeper. We better force him away. Meanwhile, north side Sofas did go in there as well, so once again, B just hemorrhaging. Also running out of gold. Castle on the north side was never addressed. Center of the map, he lost all the defenses. And Louis even snatching away the safer gold to the south side. So he's trying to turn this into a starvation game. What's Chinese passive gold? Taxation. The imp officials can return the goodies.
Nothing beats a Jet2 Villas holiday. So find your perfect villa in one of over 35 incredible destinations and make the most of your stay with flexible durations. Book now with Jet2 Villas.
What's the recipe for a good life? It's here, in this omega-3 filled wonder, in these vitamin-rich miracles, and in this protein-packed perfection. Every day, this goodness feeds your greatness. Bird's Eye. That's a recipe for a life well fed.
I think Louis can actually afford to go Imperial Age more safely. So part of the thing is like, yes, Chinese can go for a Great Wall Gatehouse, but where at this rate? I feel like he has too much he needs to protect. Whereas for Louis, if he has to just do a defensive landmark, say here, most of his economy is in this area. All that matters anyway. And I think Louis is about ready to consider a tech up at this rate. He's started to stockpile now. He has 51 so far. In fairness, he doesn't have much to fear right now. Because if B tries to run out of his base, it's going to be similar to what it was before. Oh, look, you're trying to all-in me. I'm just going to raid you to death. I don't think B's at a point where he can snipe through all the landmarks yet. This is so obnoxious. Okay, so here's the thing. You thought BC was annoying with this, like, infamous late-game style where he floods horsemen the size of your base? At least the horsemen go in and die. This has been ridiculous because they just don't commit. We're finally seeing him actually just blob and go in. It's because he has so many Sofa at his disposal. For the Huntress also coming in behind this. So the idea with these hits is to force a reaction now so that B can't counterattack because he's too deep in his base. The Spears are going to end up losing those Sofas. Northside Nestabes are going to start sieging in here onto the castle. Sofas are getting ready to react. Crossbows, spears need to defend. I don't think he's aware that there's a tech up coming right now. Rotation in. Sofas should be able to get the kill. No. Clock Tower just too good. The amount of pings on the minimap is absurd. I don't know if Hims has like a pimple removal thing. You'd think the unit with the amount of red dots going off over here. Okay, so Louis technically created space, but at what cost? He threw away almost his entire army doing that. So there is a potential opening now if B rushes across. I mean, is there a switch for Louis straight away that makes sense? He's against Nesta B, so not gunners. If he hadn't lost all the mangonels, then this play makes sense. You just go adjustable crossbars and win game. But obviously that siege got wiped. He never rebulked it. Yeah, the game's just kind of got weird now. B does still have a very big question mark, though. If he's not attacking, and he's not quick teching, what is his actual upside here? Looks like Castle's gone, so B will finally get some more gold. Yeah, it's been quite a long starvation here. He's had this gold, but it's kind of risky on the front line. This is safe on the flanks. Could even set him up for a stone grab and then a keep drop. By the way, we still do not have the Forgotten Ruins being harvested. I think, did B put one inside? Yeah, B's got two inside. Louis didn't bother. So B is at least trying to unlock those relics. Understandably so, he needs them. I mean, look at the confidence of Louis. Literally building his pit mine on the front line. Absolutely wild.
Why do I get 5% cash back on everything I buy? Because I buy everything on my Amex Cashback Everyday credit card. New card members get 5% cash back for the first 5 months, then up to 1% depending on spend and no fee. That's right, no fee with the Amex Cashback Everyday credit card.
Okay, so we do have the upgrades coming through for Louis. I believe he hasn't got Farima leadership yet. Farima leadership is phenomenal with Mansa Musafadi. By the way, he can also now go for Javeliniers if he wants. There's also the option to go for the Freeborn. But remember, when you go age 4 with Farimba, you get access to a second. And he went for the Freeborn. This is sick. Freeborn are some of the most HP efficient units in the game for population. We are still doing this. Oh, come on. It's going to slither around there like a snake. And at this point, Mansa Musafadi, they're sitting there with 7 melee armor against veteran spears. This is ridiculous. It barely tickles. He, by some miracle, has found the economy. Great Wall Gatehouse now on the way. He's even hidden it just out of range here, so it seems Louis none the wiser as to what's actually happening right underneath his nose. So far, still trying to leak in. I mean, at this point, I think Louis maybe needs to focus less on raiding, more on a direct attack. He's had a lot of extra time in Imperial Age, but hasn't really done anything with it. He hasn't been able to afford a switch into Mangonels, no adjustable crossbars, so honestly, I think B's in a better position here. The tech I'm about to complete, 2 TCs so he can afford some losses. Granaries are just going to be so much better at this stage of the game. 60 granaries, in fact. Yeah, this is worrisome. It feels like Louis is now on the clock. No play towards sacred sites either in the past. And now with B having this up here, impossible for Louis to think about that win condition. And yes, you are seeing that correctly. Nesta Bees now appear on the Great Wall Gatehouse. Rotate and actually shoot. Shout out to the devs for that. It was a fantastic animation update. Before, the Great Wall Gatehouse just looked silly. Now it is silly broken, but at least looks logical. Ooh, B stepping back into the Yuan next. Elite techs are on the way, even elite army tactics. Gonna be a big edge for him in these fights, actually. Something that he needs. Or at least a neutralizer against the Mansa Musafadi effect. A pointless wall is being burnt through over here by Louis. Alright, predict when you think the game's gonna end. Because this is ridiculous. There isn't much left. Veins in the center. The relics are still on the ground, by the way. Like, Louis never even bothered to pick up his safe relic this entire time. At what point do you just call it littering? Louis with triple trem and bombard. He's starting to break through the defenses. He is patiently waiting for as many techs as possible. Hand cannoneer switch now coming in. This is the big one. The thing's been missing this whole time. Okay, his hands on the pyrotechnics, the extra range, serpentine powder, which is great against Mansa Musafadi, will allow you to kite them. Yuan should allow him to kite a little here, but instead B thinks it's a good idea to stand his ground. He kind of needs to. The Nesta B's in trouble. So for now with a dive, he needs to get that saturated shot under the big blow of Mansa. Villagers coming in for the repairs, barely able to keep the Nesta B's alive, but it looks like the mosh pit might be about to break here. Sofa's not able to get through. Yes, all range dead, but all siege alive. These things are ridiculous. Nerfed my ass. By the way, this is without additional barrels. This is without roller shot triggers. That was just siege being siege. That was ridiculous. Louis now with this type of reset, this gives the breathing room B needs to get into hand cannoneers. Sofas are trickling in. The Nesta Bees need to slow down just a little bit of panic there. The villagers have to get their shivs out just to protect the valuable siege. We'll get away just in time to repair it. But there's a danger for Louis, you see here. If he starts trickling Sofa, the hand cannoneers will win that fight. And yeah, we're still at 0 cal gaming. I don't get it. I honestly don't get it at this stage. He never built a single ranch, from what I can tell. We are you kidding me? We're 45 minutes into a Malian.
Atera is the IT painkiller. Remote monitoring and
No!
remote access, help desk and ticketing, smarter
Game, and he's never built a cow ranch. B, oh my god, he's doing it. It's Bao Chuan time. Okay, this could just be the nail to the cross moment. Get one of these Bao Chuans, get thunderclap bombs round the back of the tree line, and it's curtains. You need vision, of course, but you can easily get that by sending a few scouts in. It's crazy. Actually, it's even worse than that. Does B know about the farms? I don't think he does. If he ever finds out about them, though, once again, Bao Chuans just destroy all this. And this is the only thing keeping Louis alive. Without ranches, without cows being eaten, it's all on these farms. And then he has 1, 2 extra farm clusters up here. Bombard's undefended. I do love it when Sofa come in at the end against Bombards. It looks like the spears are bracing against a cannon. Hold, man. We can tank it and not move. So both Bombards removed. I mean, is Louis running out of gold? He shouldn't be. The fat gold in the center is almost gone. Trebs are still sieging in. Barbican is down as well. Going a bit further north feels impossible right now for Louis, though. However, we talked about them. They're appearing. Freeborn Warriors with 236 HP. I warned you they were chunky. Not just that, 11 ranged armor as well, which against hand cannon is not bad. Mitigating basically a third of the damage you take. And also getting a lot of bonus damage in return against them. 25 damage per strike against a ranged unit. Movement speed, good enough that in theory they should be able to reach hand cannons. This is a thick boy lineup. And also should be able to absorb a lot of the STB shots. Speaking of which, Siege might be in a bit of trouble. Needs those springle shots onto the Freeborn. Low base damage means that the knobs will not die too quickly here. The sprills, however, are a lot more squishy. Siege starting to crumble a little bit, but the hand cannon account is looking good for B. 13 and climbing. Needs to be careful with this backline now against the Freeborn. Sometimes it's just hard to remember them. Like when you look at this giant blob, you might not realize there's Freeborn in there. But I feel like we're starting to kind of reach an exhaust point here. You'd think he'd be able to blob a lot more Freeborn on this, but something just doesn't seem to be adding up with Louis' production rates. I'm almost inclined to say no. Yeah. No military academy. It whiffed of it. You could sense it. Whether he'd be able to afford it, I'm not sure, but the lack of reinforcements faster here has definitely been his downside. Multiple engagements in a row now. And by the way, that Bao Chuan's on standby. Yeah, he done it. He sent a Spearman into the tree line. The Bao Chuans are now hunting. I mean, this is just a matter of time. I don't see what Louis has anymore. The boats are the final detail to prevent any sort of reset here. If he just claws his way towards the farms, I think that's going to be a wave of the white flag. Louis, truly on the clock now. Louis basically has no wood. Good thing Freeborn don't need wood. Food and gold, baby. Food and gold. What do you mean he doesn't have wood? Look at all this stealth forest. That's why they put stealth forest in the game, right? To chop it down? Yeah, that must be it. Problem for Louis is, like, you'd think that the Freeborn would counter hand cannoneers, but by the time you gap close, there's not going to be many of you left, right? Same as Springles. We do have demo shit play now coming out, so correct reaction in time before the Bao Chuans become a real nuisance here. It just feels like you're losing a land. Lou, the mangoes is a cool idea, but, like, can you afford mass mangoes adjustable crossbars now? He has got still more gold left. 130 here, and then I think that's it. Then it's just passive gold. He did pick up 2 relics, mind you. But really what Louis needs right now is time. And time is most definitely not on his side. Hannington is with a dive in. Donald Bombard taken out, and the massacre. Oh, it's going to tilt the other way. Yeah, a lot of greenies on the ground, but now it's time to muddy in a little bit of pink into the painting here. We've got plenty of springles to kill him. Hand cannon is as well. He focus fires the bombards instead. Villagers now pull for the repair. And it just, I don't feel like the Freeborn are killing enough. This is it. Louis been broken. This is a best of 9. And the first game is already almost an hour long. I was worried. I was like, one series show match. Is it really going to be a long enough fit? Yeah, I think we're safe. I definitely think we're safe. G1 to B. Oh, can we agree that this...
No, we don't agree on anything. Screw this guy. Screw this plan. Screw these ads. Get them out of here. You guys like ads? You've been enjoying ads? Perfect time for more ads! But actually good quality ads. Guys, screw all those weird consumers you ain't going to buy. It's time for something that you would be interested in. We are partnering with AMD. Exclamation mark AMD's in the chat. If you have not checked these out yet, we are working with them right now to get you aware of the best CPUs if you are a gamer. And last time I checked, a bunch of you guys are gamers because you're watching a bunch of gaming content. If you want the best performance, you should go check out the 9800X3D via my link. This thing is popping. The extra cache allows you to peak in terms of frame rate performance in games. Like the free cache makes a huge difference in terms of the size. X3D models have in general been the go-to now for a few years if you want to get best out of your games when it comes to frames. So recommend checking them out. I'm personally a 9950X. I wholeheartedly recommend AMD CPUs. I've been using them for several generations now. I am jealous of people who have the X3D because they get even more frames than me, and I'm a petty man who cares about frames. If you want to go for something with an X in it that's a bit different, they have also got the free XS model PCs set up by Scan. You can go across there and have a look through them. They've got a bunch of different AMD models you can have a look at right now. Reminder, these offers will continue on through. There's nothing like crazy in terms of you need to buy tomorrow. This is just a big reminder that as you guys are looking to upgrade, as I know a lot of you are, these are the places to look. AMD is one we live and die by. Practically every component that is possible to be AMD is AMD. Even in the laptop, if we had the option to go AMD, we probably went AMD. My PC right next to me, that is an AMD CPU. That is an AMD motherboard. That is an AMD GPU. Best bang for buck. And also when it comes to the CPU performance, absolutely smashing against everyone out there. So yes, guys, highly recommend it. The L3 cache, they just got said on YouTube. It's an absolute must. It really does make the difference. So I recommend checking them out. And big shout out to AMD. If you guys like seeing them being part of this content and making what we do possible, click the links when they pop up so they know that I sent you. Thank you very much. And now we get back to real content. I don't know, actually. The ad inception was kind of its own content. I like the ad inception. Do you guys want me to put up another video, maybe? Put up another video? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what about a live series instead? Anatan versus Recon time, baby. That is right. We are back. You know what my favorite pie is? You know what my favorite pie is, right? That's a good ad. That's shilling a good product. And I think 25 people dropped off while we were doing that. But those suckers hung around for the stupid YouTube ads. GG, I'm just retiring. Clearly, I'm washed. Not the salesman I thought I was. Oh, what a bunch of plebs. Could you imagine they couldn't handle... Like, they handled the bird's eye ad, but they couldn't handle a good AMD ad to get through to Anatan versus Recon in a best of 3. I mean, come on. You need to get your priorities straight. You're missing out. But all you cuties that hung around are in for the good stuff. Yes, Anatan versus Recon. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. A clash of creative minds, if you will. Game number 1 between these two, by the way. We'll be going to Danube Divide, and it's going to be House of Lancaster versus Mongols. Yeah, a lot of House of Lancaster picks coming out here. Vodemar versus Sass was a scam? We already done Vodemar versus Sass. What are you about? Game 1 delivered some craziness. All right, you guys ready? It's time for 2 of the most creative people you'll find in the KPMMs to clash. That's right, it's Anatan versus Recon, and it's happening early this week in the round of 16. Yeah, best of 3 to decide who's going to head forward. Got to give it to Anatan. He definitely leans himself as the favorable person here based on performances, based on the continuance of his rise for the rankings. Recon, of course, returning recently to Age of Empires 4, looking to make an impact. We'll be picking House of Lancaster up against Anu's Mongols. Map is going to be Danube Divide. This is the one where you've got the Forgotten Ruins close by, a short road to the enemy base, and a lot of relics to the north. Now, this map has been good for Mongol picks so far. Mongols have been looking pretty popular. Also, actually has House of Lancaster. Ottomans comes to mind, Japanese occasionally. I think Mongols sometimes can be a little bit of a bait. You need to be very careful about your timings. The reason is you get baited by this. The Forgotten Ruins is phenomenal. This allows you to get your hands on 60 stone a minute, which may not sound like a lot, but for one villager, that is incredible. And incredibly impactful for the Mongols due to the double reduction. Which is why Anatan is now moving for it. This is going to be a lot of out of time though, right? The tricky part about what he's doing here, I thought he'd pull the Gur. I'm a little bit shocked he didn't. So the Gur would allow him to set up and club a sheep here and then eat the sheep and hang around to capture. Because now what's going to happen is he's going to complete the racks. And then he's going to have to pump a spearman out, which will take 15 seconds. And then he's going to have to move the racks over onto the Uvu, which delays your double pump timing, right? The alternative is you leave the villager here the whole time, you move the racks, it still just feels very weird. Yeah, and he wouldn't be able to get close enough to set it up already. So yeah, he leaves the villager. In fairness, actually, it's not too bad, right? He's going to put the villager inside. I'm trying to think if there's anything more like, can you capture with Gers? I don't think you can capture with Gers. That would actually make Mongols sick on this map. So yeah, in fairness to him, he's always going to idle the villager, right? I think the ideal situation, and we've seen this on maps like, for example, Light Horizon with the merchant camp, right? Is that you can just like capture and then chop trees nearby. But in fairness to him, like if you're going to have to put the villager in anyway, there's no point pulling it away. I guess like that maybe defeats my point about dropping a sheep. Like in theory, you could have dropped a sheep and left another villager here gathering to eventually pull for the second Forgotten Ruins, which he's going to get an opportunity to, considering that Recon did not go for Dark Age Spears. No, he neglects that and goes straight into the Feudal Age. Abbey of Kings now on the way. What's the backstory of Recon? Recon was a top-level player in Age of Empires 4 when it came out, but after a while of exhausting himself and maybe not feeling it as much as he loved for Age of Mythology, he returned to Age of Myth when the Retold edition came out. That ship has sunk fairly fast. Age of Mythology is, I guess, be fair to say, on life support. You know, it's not really seeing much growth. The prize pool earnings are going down. So players that were fully committed to that are now reassessing and looking to come back here because Age of Empires 4 is looking like a much more sturdy ship. In fairness to Recon and people like that, when they did leave, it made sense. You know, Age of Empires 4 was in a little bit of a shaky position towards when Retold was coming out. You know, there was a lot of players at the time that were losing faith in AoE 4. This is bloody annoying, though. Anatan, he's going to set up the outposts. Oh, man, I love this. This is so creative, right? So, like, the cool thing about doing this with an outpost, guys, is that your villager is going to gather stone, and anytime you need to repair, you just ungarrison repair. It's so powerful, and this is brutal, man. Like, I can't think of many situations where Lancaster or English would get outpost rush just because shortbows are so good at defending, but irrelevant, ineffective, not able to do it. I can't believe Anno just outpost rushed him. You know, like, you know, it's a powerful pick on this map. I think the reason it works is because of the extra stone. If it wasn't for the Forgotten Ruin stone, I don't really feel like you'd be able to get away with this because the spear count would be lower. And you can already see the damage they've taken. Shortbows would be able to beat you back. But that extra stone, reminder that in the Dark Age, you only get 70 stone a minute. So you're essentially doubling your infinite, well, not infinite, your double production resource. That's super powerful. Why is the village in the ruins so small? That's how you squeeze into tight places. Because you don't want to disturb the area. Like, he's not an architect. Archaeologist. So, you know, he's being very careful about the fragile things. But that means you need to have the ability to just get into small, tiny holes. You guys remember that vase demon from Demon Slayers? That's what your villager is. You also just turn French. Hey, hey. Yeah, no, I was going to try and defend it. I mean, in fairness, if you think about it, out here, you're exposed, vulnerable to war, and then you run away, you retreat inside here, and then all of a sudden you're wearing a white flag. This all tracks, and I just made a lot of French enemies. Deerstone coming through now. Hobbler reaction out of Recon. I should have known. Recon and his hobbies, man. This guy is looking for any reasonable cavalry on any civ right now. It's just so weird that we're doing this into space. He's going to pull the Lancaster Lords. Now, normally, you could just kind of optimize by pulling away, healing, come back, and kill this. But this is very different with the outpost. I know it's going to need to keep a unit in range. Otherwise, it's going to get decapped. And yeah, there you go. Go for the pull heal. But remember, guys, the difference here, villager comes out, villager repairs, villager goes back in. It's so trolly. Oh, man. It's like, oh, wow, look, you almost got me. Psych. Now, in fairness to Recon, the Hobbler will give him away a break in this, but it's also not going to feel very safe. Lost a spearman. Not ideal. Oh, look, I'm just going to repair this again. Okay, bye. It just works. All right, do you guys want me to blow your mind more? The Golden Horde are coming. Have you guys noticed that the pasture interaction looks like it'll be like this? If the Golden Horde's pasture interaction is that they can just basically climb inside of a safe building to gather food, do you not think that Golden Horde players are going to build outposts next to your base and then build their farm and hide inside it? Because I can guarantee the crap out of it. Like, if that is the way that that interaction works, that's exactly what's coming in the next DLC. So have fun with that. Oh, God. That's so silly. The ability to repair and then not have to have your villager lead. Like, remember, this is something that Knights Templar was seen as very good for. They could do proxy racks rushes really nicely because their villager didn't have to go home. It is a game changer. At least with the Knights Templar, their villager is exposed. This guy just can't be turfed. Now Kesh expand from mana. He's just got everything to counter the play into hobbies. I mean, Recon could go Spears. Spears would be a good idea here. Once more into the breach. No! Run! Alright, guys. I think Anno might just fast tack. You can kind of just get away with a castle rush here, because you could just spam a few extra spears to defend at home against Hobbler. This is just bordering on toxic, man. Oh, it's such a subtle detail, but you see how small things can break it, you know? Keshik's now creeping around the back. Hobbler. Oh, hello! Packs up the Gur. Nice move there. Anatan just trying to stop himself from getting body blocked, but it's not going to work. Great strike here. Recon. Able to strip 5 worker kills off of this. Well, maybe. I don't know. The pathing's weird. He does get the strike. Damn, what a hit. He's not done, though. Continuous dive. He has undermesh. And there's no stilled arrow. Needs to be careful about hanging around too long. We get the shuffle from Anatan as he breaks across the other side. 7 worker kills for Recon. However, there's a counter-offensive. The Keshiks enter the base. Trying to ignore the Lords. It's not as impressive, though. 2 worker kills compared to the 7 that Recon was able to achieve. That is a phenomenal hit out of the Brit. Still plenty of Hobbler, which is why it's ambitious that Anatan's steering into archers. Understands, though. He saw the Spearman. Needs that reaction. But the bad news is now if Recon just brings these guys home, all boo-boos get kissed better. And well, there's not much of an easy way of stopping him from getting it. Wait, what? Are you kidding me? He should have lost 2 Hobblars there, not got a Keshik kill. Oh my god, Recon. Love and life right now. There is still this. Wait, what? He actually dove it. I think this may be overextending Recon. Like, great fight earlier, but the Lords have got a lot of carrying to do. And it's against raw Keshik count. Try to break back. Recharge comes through, though. Anatan, he gets the minimum range charge. Double kill on the Lords. That's a big deal, guys. Remember, this is a snowball type comp. You get more health when you have more of them. Strips away a lot of your effective HP for a big brawl, which is what Anatan is steering towards. Keshik count looking scary. The Keshik count steering in now. Maneuver speed is going to be used. Wait, he doesn't have wheelbarrow! Recon will be lucky that was only 1 kill. Still, the lead that he built begins to shrink. And remember, Anatan has got that ridiculously effective extra 120 stone a minute. He's generating 220 stone a minute, which means he almost can afford to constantly double produce spearmen throughout the course of Feudal. Instead, he's going to use it to double produce archers. Archers, of course, benefiting from the Yam. I mean, this is the other thing that makes Mongols really good if you can get this type of outpost up. Short distance to the enemy base. Like, you're pretty much Yamified start to finish with good positioning, right? The Deerstone could be here, and then the outpost would take over here. So you'd have this tiny gap, like, what, here? Where you wouldn't be buffed. Which can easily be fixed by another outpost built by this villager if you want. And that Yam is a game changer. Just allows you to actually chase down Hobblar with the Keshiks. Easier to dodge with the archers if the Hobblars dive in. It means that the Lords only really ever get engaged when you want to engage them. And if you've ever looked at their face, you'll realize nobody wants to engage them. That was mean. Not as mean as what Anatan is getting ready to do, though. Decent number of archers. He's got enough to guarantee a spear kill, right? So he's got 10 damage. 120 damage per strike, and you've only got 104 health. So yeah, he fought this out. Keshiks. Now with the dive in. Why are we so allergic to wheelbarrow? Formation shuffling is broken, and Recon would agree, but not broken enough. He'll still end up losing another worker. Does get out. Looks like Hoblar trying for a backstab, but the Spearman. Recon not respecting the danger. And wait, what? Oh my god, he's about to get jumped on the backside. Maybe a little bit premature from Recon, but he does throw in the towel. Game number 1 will be going to Anatand. A creative start though, guys, and you can see just how subtly busted some of these mechanics can be. The hop in, hop out garrison and always getting stone alongside it. I have a feeling if we add more maps with this point of interest, Mongols are going to find more ways of exploiting it. All right. Game uno complete. Next up, we are heading into Sunken Lands. Oh, it's going to be a boring one. Chinese versus Xi. Wait a second, I just realized. Did they draw for a best of 5? they did. Oh my, okay, that's brilliant. Okay, so this is pure comical. We're here in the round of 16, and these are meant to be best of 3s. For some reason, both of these guys decided they wanted to play a best of 5 instead. Oh, welcome back to the channel, folks. It's game number 2 between Recon and Anatand. Anno after the early lead. Recon is looking to strike back with the fierce Chinese. But Anatand has turned it into a China mirror. It's a sign to make round of 16 BO5s, if only. I mean, if people were punctual, like, I think, like, my goal here is, like, give it a few weeks, and if people are punctual on getting their stuff scheduled in the round of 16s and beyond, then I can up it. Especially considering that we increased the amount of money. Like, the only thing we changed for that increase of money, really, was we added a third place match, which is also beneficial to third place. So, yeah, I should make you guys dance more. So we're going to go 2x speed just for the early game here. Actually make it 4x. It's going to be initial sheep rotations, and then we're probably looking at pro scouts. Normally this matchup is pro scouts. I have liked China a lot more with these opening spear archer plays. Something kind of like what we saw from Valdemar, even though it was against Byzantines earlier. Let's see if we get it here. Meditation Garden is going to be coming in, and Anatand gets a pretty decent one, actually. Double gold plus the trees. So about 75 resources in total. Imperial Academy is on the other side, coming in for Recon. Is EGC Dry Arabia integrated KPMM? No. Do we need it? Wait, is there an EGC Dry Arabia? It wouldn't surprise me at this point. There is. What did it fix? Sheep spawns? Has it been updated? And we talked about China making the move for the archers. They get beaten to it. Oh my god. Anatand, you cheeky son of a gun. Recon was trying to go pro scouts. Now, I had the taxation to get the rest of the way, but this is definitely going to slow his timings. And Recon, he already went stables because he wanted pro scout, right? So he opens horsemen. Spearmen are following up now, but Anatand hasn't got them out yet. But the fact he got an outpost up is why it doesn't matter. He's going to have plenty of time to get the spears across. Wow. That's sick. Yeah, Anatand, with the extra wood, definitely helps towards this timing on the production buildings, not to mention the outpost. We slow down at the perfect moment. Oh, just trying to be mindful of time, because I know we have got Wham versus sort of soon, which we'll be hopping into live. Oh, what an incredible idea. It just completely puts a stopper to the greed of Recon, right? Like, he can still go pro scouts, but it's going to delay his timing. He's also just going to want to invest elsewhere. You know, remember, he has to get extra taxmen, which also slows him down on getting the gold in necessary. And then there's obviously the wood cost. 150 wood when you now need to pivot into an extra production building is rough. Okay, this whole series is just turning into Anatan's optimization around stone. First game one, it was the hang around inside the point of interest to gather stone. This time, he anchors himself right next to the outpost and starts gathering the stone for those emplacements. Yeah, I love this. It just feels like he's giving a masterclass on how to use that outpost villager rather in the early game. I want to call him a civilian, but this guy looks like he was built for war. So back on the 2x recon. He's starting to mass up the scouts. Pro scouts is getting locked in. Anatan is not mirroring, right? No, he just stays in his base. He's got, what, 12 sheep? So actually has more to work with than recon, who's down to 8. I like the recon's trying to find an attack point here, though. There's no point directly contesting this, and unfortunately, though, because Anatan's been gathering the stone, it's going to get impossible to contest. Fortification's coming in 20. Dive towards the goal, but we know it's very difficult to get kills on Shushi or Chinese players because of how impactful, how useful these villages are. You want to build them anyway, and as long as you build them near where you're gathering, you feel invulnerable. Villages getting a little bit weird. Then again, it did force a bit of an odd dive from the Chug. I believe we do have deer now coming home. More troops heading up. We also have a pass guard switch over from Anatan, which makes sense considering the amount of archers that Recon has now built. I think he's trying to cut reinforcements. Yep, great find. And the pass guard aren't going to die straight away, but any damage done is going to last. China's OP, definitely. Most definitely. Like, anyone who's trying to say China's not OP, I'll just tell you right now, they're a China main. They're either a China main or they don't know matchups. Like, I'm sorry, but like you can't argue with it anymore. They've been ridiculous for a long time. I don't know how China never really got a proper nerf. I mean, Recon, think about all these archers he's building and the amount of taxation it's generating at home. The thing that is different here is obviously, like, Recon doesn't have great gold options. He's kind of locked to this type of strategy right now because of Anatan's opening. Nano, he's going to use it against him. Like, this is the difference that this outpost made. If this was no outpost, Recon can mirror the tech up and we get into Lancer on Lancer spam. Where at the highest level, China has been able to win out with these spear crossbow transitions, but I don't think Recon was expecting this type of timing. Anatan's, he's ready to pull the trigger on the third age. Human movement speed in AoE 4 has strong SC2 vibes. Yeah, I've said about that in the past. Like a 1.5 speed modifier would be pretty cool to see across the board. Why in China versus Shushi is China considered better? So, like, at first there was this idea that Shushi were better because of the mass lancers. But at the absolute highest level, you will see that China's better at just moving away from lancers into spear crossbows off the extra taxation, etc. The thing that's different here, though, is, like, the timings. Like, this outpost block has been heavily advantageous towards Anatan's. And now it means he gets to get to lancers or PG much quicker than his opponent. He's upgrading the pass guard, and you know, this is the thing. Like, Shushi have a timing against China if you get this type of lead. The timing is regional inspection into mass palace guard / lancer. And that's exactly what he's going for right now. Yeah, this is scary for Recon. I just don't know if he realizes just how scary. Villagers having to retreat away. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind for Recon is he doesn't like playing Shushi. I don't think he's quite figured out everything about them yet. So it's possible he doesn't know just how good regional inspection is. We're 20 seconds out. Palace guard spam begins. He's already supervising. He's pushing this away. And Recon, reinvesting is the biggest mistake that can be made here. Archers will not be out against Palace guard. Maybe he just believes that Anatan won't have enough food. I mean, it would make sense considering there was no pro scouts. I know, has a few more PG coming through. Horseman line's beginning to thin. Recon, he is now saving up, so it's getting better. There's some hope here. His archers are trading out with the Chig well. It's just weird to see Horseman having to deal with Palace Guard, and then Archers dealing with Chug when the rolls... You'd expect Horseman to go straight for the Chug anew. It looks like the Constriction has failed. Recon has to retreat away. And reminder, guys, he's still not gone out towards the gold. He's freaked out about it. Oh, wait, no, there we go. He went backside. 4 on gold isn't a lot, though. If he does tech up, this gives him an opening into Lancers, is the idea. It's like, Recon's definitely not dead, but he needs to be very careful about the next 2 minutes. Xana's hand is looking to push in, and, you know, on a map like this, with the smaller tree lines, the further out gold, there's clear exposure points, and if he does want to go Lancers, he's going to need a lot of gold to do so. Horseman, good rating. This is important, remember. Anatan does not have Pro Scouts, so he lives or dies by his access to deer here. And the Imperial Palace is now going to be on the way. This is fine. You know, when you're up against PG or Lancers, Nesta Bees aren't that valuable. The extra vision and IDing where your opponent is with a no Pro Scout build is much more important for Recon. And I'm just biding some time. He's got the 4 gold. Does he think about going monks now? I think you don't consider monks until your opponent techs. Because now is your window, right? He doesn't have anti-armor units. Pass guard is going to look to jump straight through that window. Tech up complete. As Anatan starts to dive the base. 1 villager down. Archer's getting bogged down. Another PG arriving on the west side as well. This is getting a little bit annoying. Second wave's now coming through. Anatan, he staggered his troops, which is something that a feudal army can beat. Horsemen are forced all the way back home. Palace Guard breaking in again. Chuganu traded out with Lancers switch on the way now from Anatan. It's that timing we talked about. Palace Guard falls off hard now. It's 3 worker kills. There's a lot of other time achieved. It continues to be achieved. Shiv's out from the villages. Another one goes down. Okay, Mr. Anasand. Got this spring in place. I love this. Because there was never pressure here, he didn't rush arrow slits. Now he has a spring on placement. Recon's going to struggle to reacquire this gold. Has got plenty to work with in the corner, so it should be a problem immediately. There's something to be concerned about down the line. Pro Scouts is still running, but these Lancers now running into the base. Remember, Recon can't keep up with Shushi's pacing on Lancer spam if they have the same food income. This supervision is nuts. Every 9 seconds, a Lancer comes out. You're able to double the rate that China can achieve. Talk about a timing from Anatan. And you have to remember that this was an iteration. This is an evolution of Shushi that happened after Recon stopped playing AoE4. So I really don't think he's been able to get a feel for how powerful it is yet. Lancer now in. Recon not paying attention quick enough. He's going to lose several villagers. They're riding the base, man. Anatan has been so clean. He still doesn't lose a single villager. But finally, some will fall. But Anno, it just feels like he's getting more. Recon being hit on the backside. I mean, you've got the secondary wave starting to bulk up, ready for a dive. Ranged armor 2 coming in about 10 seconds for Anno. And the Lancers have at least been stopped on the backside. The dive into the base. Not going to be as successful as he would like. He's going to be able to find an Imperial official. A big kill if he can get it. Looks like he will. But, oh my god, on this side, the archers are just gone. Yeah, Recon, I mean, he's got nothing left in the base. It's just villagers, taxmen, and death. I don't see how the hell you're meant to hold against what's coming, right? Like, Lancer spam continues. The crazy part here is Recon is the one with Pro Scouts. He should have food. He should have an ability to just pump out more cav units. But the problem is that Anatan found this pitch-perfect timing to dive him and never stopped until he was dead. Which is what he looks to be now. Man, props to him. China versus Shushi. The difference that Ford Outpost made, Core's not wrong as well. Like, put the mill behind the TC, a definite good idea. In fact, you saw it from Anatan. It's not quite behind, but to the side. But this is the bait of it as well. Like, by behind, what Core means is, like, place it here. so that you don't have extra walk distance, but like you keep towards your starting area so you don't become inefficient. Yeah, Lancer just going to club down a few more. It's just oh, come on. This is a futile fight, man. There's no way that you beat that one Lancer quick enough. This man is a monster. Anatan quickly unraveling the Trash Panda. At this point, Recon's just going through the motions. Yeah, I think it's time to put the Trash Panda back in the trash. Because it's now a raw Lancer game where you're tripled up. GG. Game 2 going to Anatan. He made swift work out of Recon. I mean, this is like, what, old versus new, right? It almost feels like Anatan has taken Recon's place and then maybe exceeded the ranking he's capable of. No shame in it. I'm sure Recon will get his head back in the papers and go back to studying these matchups because our boy's still got a lot to learn, but a lot of potential. All right. Now, for some reason, they played a best of 5. But have we got... We might be able to do the extra game. Even though like there shouldn't be an extra. We can cast the extra game. Because I'm just checking. Wham versus Swordov, I believe, is meant to be happening soon. But I don't think they're ready just yet. Doesn't look like it. So I guess we can do game number 3 of this series. A bonus, if you will. Oh dear, oh dear. So that was impressive though. Like I think at first when we start seeing a lot of Shushi versus Chinese in the Pro Scouts meta, Shushi was favored for the Lancer spam. But then people realized like it's kind of a bait to get stuck in long melee fights where the extra attack speed actually happens. So people just got better at like microing so that you like club and move away. But then the other thing, like especially at the absolute highest level, we were seeing a lot of spear crossbow transitions out of China that was leading to them being fairly favored. But let's get ready for Anatan. Kind of late for Swordov. No, it'd be early, wouldn't it? It's early now because he's in Korea, which is time in Korea. Oh, actually, no, it would be late. What? Damn. I mean, he could have just... I would have thought... I mean, the alternative would have been waking up early, so he could have went with probably, like, 4 hours from now. That'd be 6:30 in the morning. I guess that's not much better. And shout out to the boy for tanking it, actually. That is a little bit rough. But... Should we do the Anno versus Recon bonus game? And then we can hop across to sort of Wham afterwards. Let me check in. I'm checking with him on an ETA now. Sorry, we've got a guy spamming us on some business end stuff. All right. Yeah, he's waiting on a response from sort of. He's like, hopefully he didn't fall asleep. So, we're going to hop into this one. Bonus game! Yeah, this is like, oh, God. Only these guys could turn a best of 3 into a best of 5. Bonus game for all of you wonderful viewers. This was meant to be a best of 3. They just decided to play a best of 5 instead. And no, that is not the outcome. Recon is actually on the verge of defeat here. Anatan picks his Byzantines, which I consider to be one of his signature and best civs. On the other side, Recon goes for the Ionids. All right, if there was ever a civ to do it, it's going to be this. We're going to 4x until we're in feudal age, because that feudal age could be important. Recon is a very big believer in some off-meta wings here, and I'm wondering if he might try for Master Smiths in this game. Looking at the spawn as well, Anatan got a pretty good one, leaning north side in the berries, but tree lines behind him do kind of suck. Doesn't give him an area to wall into naturally. We haven't got him starting on the stone, by the way. No, it is going to be it. Okay, guys, this is cool. Not only do we have Imperial Hippodrome, a different way of spinning it, but on the other side, it's going to be Master Smiths coming in from the Ibids. Folks, this tech choice is nuts. Seriously, you need to really just do the maths on this. So you save a lot of resources, more than you spend teching up. A tech up costs 600 resources. If you go for this, you save like 800, I think it's 1,000. We mapped out as like 1,000 because you get Military Academy for free. You get all of the tier 1 techs for free. The tier 1 techs alone come to 700 resources in savings. And the Military Academy is, I believe, 350 more. So you save 1,050 resources with Master Smiths. Recon, he's been a big fan of this type of build. It gives him immediate pressure. Archery range plus the stables being dropped. On the other side, Anatan, of course, already pumping in the horsemen. And already has the timing for the lombos. Yeah, I wondered if we were going to be maybe seeing javelins, but the idea here is just to kind of stay at home. And blacksmiths hasn't been dropped just yet. Recon is going to delay his timing in favor of getting the archers out first. Yeah, because like the main one you'd be benefiting from if you rushed it, it would be Military Academy. But right now you can't really afford Military Academy. Your wood is starting to get up, great, but like you're not quite there yet, right? 'Cause you still have to build a blacksmith. So it's going to be coming in now that you scaled a little bit higher. And yes, teching up with Master Smiths in Feudal gives you access to Military Academy, a Castle Age tech, which increases your production rate by 33%. It's nuts. And it's also a pretty cool idea into Byzantines. A civ that builds systems to scale their production rates are going to get eclipsed. 19 seconds on the Hippodrome. Meanwhile, 17 seconds for the Ibids on their horsemen. Now, there is admittedly a level 1 system. So Anatan can still scale a much better production rate as time goes on. Recon, just going to back away a little. Anatan already switching over on the stone. Recon getting in position, just trying to block that secondary berry. There is an alternate option for Anatan here. It's really far to the south, but oh, he doesn't know. Yeah, so in his mind, this is the only berries he sees. I mean, it should be pretty obvious if Anatan stops and thinks for a second. There's only one real area he hasn't scouted on the map. I am very much intrigued by this matchup. Normally with Ibids, not so much. They tend to go for this fast castle build, and Byzantines just anchor. They gradually follow you up with systems. But this is a very, very different IO game. There are not many people who play the all-in feudal Ibids, rather. Recon is becoming one of them. Seems to be a big believer. Now, the scary thing for Recon is going to be he needs an overwhelming number of spears. Remember that Byzantines will have the cavalry edge here via Hippodrome. All they need is the right situation to activate Triumph, and that +4 damage will overwhelm the Ibid cavalry. Might be worth Recon investing in 1 or 2 Desert Raiders, but that also becomes difficult against Lombo Horseman mass. You know, Horsemen, if they get into melee against Desert Raiders, can still destroy them, and Lombos will melt. It's tricky. I mean, you know, at least it's not Javelins, I guess is what you can say, but in some ways it's worse. You know, if this was Javelins, then what you'd have is a weird comp where Horsemen and Javs are going after the same target. It means Spearman beats. But when you do Horsemen plus Lombos with this type of build, it's incredibly oppressive. You know, there's a fair argument going around that maybe we've been sleeping on Hippodrome too much, and that Grand Winery is the second tier landmark compared to Hippodrome. Because in these situations, you know, if you're talking about an empowered horseman, right, that is hitting harder than Sipahi, well, you want to try and enable that as much as possible. Well, then Western Contract is phenomenal for that. Lombos are the best counter spears you can come by at this age. He's got plenty of them as he tries to scale this. Looks like he's going to be forced off for the time being. Cancels the outpost and walks away. Level 3 system. Level 4 should be coming soon. And He does now see the berry, so he knows about the south side. Has the wheelbarrow if he wants to run for it. And yeah, this is a best of 3 because, let me just update it, they decided to play a bonus game. So they made it a best of 5. Seriously, I don't know where they got the idea this is a BO5, but I'm okay with it. Am I the guy who had the most amazing laugh in Dota 2? I mean, I don't know about the most amazing... Yeah, that was me. I think the way it got described to me is a Keck W laugh. Like, I'll take it. I've just got more teeth. Horseman. Tramp gets activated. Here we go. Lombo's being targeted down. Anno. Oh, man. Did he bite off more than he can chew? The Spearman didn't get killed. There's a few left alive. Longbow count is low. Only 2 of them. Ansan just trying to min-max. As long as they don't die, they can heal. Baits him into the TC. Gets some assistance there, but the Spearmen are still alive. Recon! Is it working? Oh my god, guys, could you imagine the story of this? Could you imagine if Recon comes back 3-2 because they accidentally played a best of 5? Now, some people are like, but KP, Anatan already got 2 games. You have to just call it there. Sure. No, because it changes so many things when you play a BO5 instead of a BO3 from a drafting perspective alone. So you'd have to allow this, or you'd have to ask for a complete remake in a BO3. It's a good start for Recon. The question now is whether you can mount more pressure. Because Anatan, surprisingly enough, still has a crazy number of horsemen, and I love this switch up. He goes on the aggro. Exploratorus would be great for this follow-up, because I think he's looking for dives. Am I attending King of the Rockies? No. I don't see the sanity in what that would cost me to fly there. Horseman? They grab a few. I'll give it to him. The melee defense is actually helping Recon out a lot, but not enough. Ends up losing 4 workers. Yeah, and also on top of that, Anatan now knows that Recon is playing Pocket Eco. He knows that he's exposed. We already see him on the north side. But this is glorious moments in the mind for Anatan, right? Like, oh, great. I'm playing mass cavalry and you have to come out of your base. What more do you need? It's a dream come true. Horseman. Oh, gonna dodge that bullet. Are you kidding me? I can't believe he got away with that. It looked like the Spearman didn't charge straight away. Yeah, we went over King of the Rockies a little bit. It just like... I would not expect them to invite me. It's just like, it's financially, it makes no sense, right? The cost of flights, like if they're a big TO, then sure. But they're not a big TO. They don't have deep pockets. All right, so Anatan, we have got a switch into archers coming, which Recon, he knew he was doing it before, but he hasn't seen the recommitment. And this time, Undermesh is coming in. Now, the clock is ticking really for Recon for multiple reasons. Not just those worker kills and not just assistance. Just like many choices for Ibids, going Master Smiths is a timing attack. You get an overwhelming technological advantage at the start of Feudal Age, but as time ticks on, that advantage can't be doubled up on, right? You can't get Blacksmith level 2s, for example. You'd have to go Castle. So the gap is closing. Anatan now has Undermesh plus the Steeled Arrow. I know. Has he switched to Presidium? He has not. Could make a difference here. If Recon hard commits, like the burn being reduced by 25% could be a saving grace. I know, he's going to try to bait him into the fight and does so effectively. Archers now target down the spears. The horsemen get dragged the other way. Are going to reconvene on top of the archers. Anatan, he's holding on to the pull of the trigger, though. He's got Triumph for 18 seconds if he wants to activate. And there it is! He's like, he's been baited. He drags him in deep enough. And Anno will stand his ground. This is rough. The outpost is adding in a lot of arrow fire. And now the surge forward. I mean, it's crazy. Recon, he has got 10 spears, yes, but none of them are here. This is rough. Triumph did just run out. A few more spearmen now arriving. That's 3 in the mosh pit. Will be enough to scare Anno away, but Anatan, he survives the attack. And the clock continues to tick against Recon. Some big important details here. We mentioned already the increased gathering rate buff, but also keep in mind that that allows you to mirror up against Recon's effectivity on berries. This is also a game where when you're playing limited resources with the Saracen Civs, you're at risk because you can't play Boar, which is something that Anatan could if he absolutely needed to. These Hippodrome Horsemen still do not have Exploratorius, so kind of a missed opportunity there. In fairness, it's only been 4 worker kills, but for reference point, if he had Exploratorius before he got those kills, the tech would have already paid for itself. Fantastic game this has started to delve into. 2x speed. We know, of course, Recon has to attack again. I mean, he's not saving up, that's for sure. I know. This is the thing we talked about this spawn, right? Like, the 4 tree lines would have been preferable for protecting the berries, but the trade-off now is the gold is very, very hard for Recon to access. I understand. Finally able to afford some more Lombos here. Still hasn't gone to the south side for those berries, even though it's such a good spot with the Boar plus berries. Remember, at home, Recon does have walls up, so he's not really that vulnerable to raids anymore. And this isn't a Grand Winery game. No, so you don't have to worry about your opponent just spamming up the farms easily. What's the meaning of Saracens? Because of the origin point from, like, what, Syria and then, like, the Middle East. I think Saracens is, like, a more widely known term for history nerds. Flash coming in. The Hippodrome! No, Recon! Surely not! Where are the spears again? He has 14 spearmen and none of them are here! Oh my god. The second time in a row now. Recon, what's happening with these spears? There's a few back here. Is there a few in the north? There is. Yeah, he's holding 4 in reserve. The rest are struggling to get across here. I think if Recon really wants to make this work, it has to be 4 production buildings. It's getting him killed. Oh, man. An unintended game 3. But I'm so glad we've got it. And oh my god, yeah, there's extra at the Raxes. Recon, no. He just fixed it. It didn't have a rally point. That is brutal. And look at what it's allowed Anatan to do. He's now got the Golden Horn Tower on the way. This game is becoming more and more vicious, man. I'm struggling to see the clear route for Recon now. We talked about Master Smiths. It's very much an all-in-y tempo type build. Well, you went all in. You tried to play tempo. And it turns out it was a little bit too electric for you to hold on to. Anatan now has the level 5 cistern. He's got Golden Horn Tower producing units for free quickly. Needs to switch over though. Big mistake made there. He used the Presidium for defense, but then he forgot about it. So he hasn't switched it back to production rate, which is Conscriptio. This is an easy mistake to make. Not many people have historically used Presidium, even though it's a powerful tool, the one that reduces damage taken to building some range. It's easy to forget about this. You know, it's one of those things where you're probably only going to look at it when you're being attacked and then realize it's already on. So that can be a problem because it means that he is at half efficiency on a Golden Horn Tower. Even with that detail in mind, though, these are vet horsemen. And he has got Triumph again. This time, though, the spearman count looks good. He's got the spear wall as well, which means the extra melee range. Longbow count is already up to 9. Villagers scrambling over. Cataphract's starting to come out as well. Anatan, biding his time here. He's using the arrow emplacement again. Finding the spear horde. More archers coming through. Villagers, a little bit of a weird return to work. I mean, Recon, it looks good, right? But, like, where's the connector? What's the damage that's really being done here with this dive? And now the Triumph, it gets activated again. Jumps on in. Who counters who? I've got a spear too. Munches down the spearman wave. Recon will be feeling it again, an overextension in the end. I mean, he cleared a decent number of the horsemen. We went from, what, like 20 at the start of the fight down to 10, but now being replaced by Cataphract. I wonder, did that alert him? No, so Presidium still hasn't been toggled. This is the most inefficient level 5 system Golden Horn Tower we've ever seen. Oh, Recon, buddy. So you're probably looking at this right now going, why doesn't Recon just tech? To tech, he's going to have to save up 1,800 resources, and then he's going to have to wait 2 minutes. Or you can go maybe advancement wing, but I don't know if that would really help you either. The point is, no matter how you kind of square it up, you do not have much time if you start teching. He has to save up and then commit those resources. And saving up is going to take him about a whole minute. So it's a 3-minute process where you won't have much in the way of reinforcements at all. Yeah, and also remember that food number's high now, but it's running low. The berry's already being exhausted over here, so that's -9 workers. The deer isn't going to last long either. He's been on that for a bit. And we do finally have Anatan on the big fat stack of berries. Yeah, triple outpost to justify. You can even pull the boar afterwards. And what is up, Icarus? I see you with the prime sub. You are a smart cookie, lad. Thank you very much. Remember, guys, get those subs in. It does support the channel more than you'll ever realize. Villager? Okay, wait. I would sue them for negligence there. How dare you bring 16 of us out and only have 3 towers? Cataphracts. Oh. Run, little trash panda, run. You can feel Recon's grip on the map slipping here. He just can't mirror the Cataphracts easily. I mean, it's a lot. 6 Cata might not sound like a lot here, but try and hunt them down to block them out, yes. Behind this, we do have some farms now starting to get added in, so Anatan is getting towards a more permanent food supply. And still has plenty to work with in the meantime. If he just remembers the Golden Horn... Oh my god, man. Come on, no. Guys, it's taking him 3 minutes to get mercenaries for free instead of a minute and a half. That is a huge difference. Especially when you consider things like Lombos are all about quantity scaling. And imagine how useful Lombos would be right now against Spearmen. It's weird that from a game sense perspective, it still hasn't switched on for Anatan. That like something doesn't add up. Definitely the type of moment that's going to make you facepalm afterwards. Like, it's why Presidium's a really cool ability, but it's moments like this that make you think you should never use it, you know? Like, you're like, I remember one time when I used this and it kind of helped, but in reality, screwed me later. You know, it's like when you're a little kid and you're like, oh, if I stack all these books on top of each other, I can climb up on the shelves. And then you do it, but you get there, but then the books fall behind you and you're stuck. You're like, well, that was technically great for getting me up, but now I hate this. Same with Presidium. Slight overextension, maybe? Cataphracts will trample out of it. Archer's Lombo's getting bailed on. Kind of needs to recommit. The Horsemen are making it very difficult for Anatan to get the retarget. Horseman quantity is getting low. Recon's going to be running out of food shortly after this. And remember, these are vet archers after all. They do decently well into the counter unit. Due to the extra damage. Recon has to be feeling the exhaustion, right? Down to just 3 horsemen. 7 Cataphract remain. And Anatan loved that. Chef's kiss. He pulls away the injured Cataphracts because he's got monks at home that have been gathering up relics. I think they're... Am I blind? Where are his relics? I feel blind right now. Oh, back here. Yeah, so just wait back there for the monks to return with the goodies. I think we're approaching point of defeat, right? Recon still doesn't know what age. Okay, can we just show, like, props and respect to Recon for this relentless... If I'm screwed and behind already, why would I go castle to be more screwed and more behind? He's just looking for an advantage that justifies an age up, which I actually respect. I think people in positions like this that blind tech, they're just miles behind, right? Like, you know you're playing in the shadow of your opponent. He's trying to leverage the fact that he's not spending 1,800 resources on an age up to find some damage. It's kind of like at this point you're stress testing the limitations of an age behind. We'll be able to find 1 or 2 workers. But we're at the verge of dive point on the other side of the map. You know what's crazy to think about? This entire series can be summarized by 3 outposts. Game number 1, the Mongol outpost on the Forgotten Ruins. Game number 2, the Shushi outpost on the Golden Stone. And game 3, the Byzantine outpost here. Fight after fight came in here, right? This is a sticking point for Recon. We had an early fight before it, but then the 2 major fights afterwards happened in the range of this thing. Was never able to burn it down, never able to break through. It was always the standing point for Anatan. I mean, props to him as well. We basically had 2 games that were outpost rushes, and then 1 game where it's an outpost defense. Recon. Okay, guys. I want to ask you what the most farms you've ever seen out of an IBA player in Age 2 is. I think this is it. We're gonna be at 35 farms. 35 farms as Age 2 Iabid is unheard of. That is wild. This is not a civ that tends to hang around in feudal age that long. It's also a civ that doesn't really benefit from getting farms this early. And yes, Anatan does appear to be looking at Imperial Age. Do you use Palatine School for the cataphracts? Foreign engineering company is not really that useful, right? I mean, you don't have mass lombos to get volley. Yeah, there we go. Palatine School. It just makes sense. Palatine School is like technically broken. Oh, sort of theoretically broken. So the reason it's theoretically broken, guys, is you have to remember that it's a 30% chance to spawn one of your unique units when you produce one. But it's RNG. So you can produce 5 units and get nothing. Or you can produce 10 units and get 10 units. So the reason why that is theoretically broken is you could produce 10 cataphracts, spam 10 bonus cataphracts, and you would have essentially paid for your Imperial tech, because that would be 3,300 resources. I'm a stickler for this point. I'm warning it's going to eventually... There is going to be a pro-level game that will be decided by Palatine School RNG. And it will be in a big tournament. It's just a matter of time. And once that happens, once that game happens, it's got to at some point, you will see them change this landmark. Because, like, technically, with a 5% chance, what they could have made this is every 4th unit that you produce of X, this will produce an extra. Or every 3rd unit, or whatever you want to bounce around, right? There's definitely other ways that aren't RNG to design this landmark. But that would ruin the casino effect of it. I am, by the way, disappointed that we are not getting Trade Wing from Recon. We could have had a Gamba game on both sides. Has he realized he's on Brazil? No, he hasn't. He's going to be kicking himself. By the way, in Anatan fashion, he walked out to... Yeah, he secured the trade post, right? So he's getting Sapahi now. We did talk about this choice to go advancement wing, that it would feel necessary. Usually does when your opponent's 2 ages ahead. This is brutal. Well, congrats, mate. You survived to age 3. I don't know if you're going to survive much longer, though. Yep, there's that RNG. How about more? Didn't get it that time. At this point, I'm the old lady at the slot machines. Gonna make it big today. Yep, he just got another. Okay, so that was like 1, none, 1. Didn't get another. I guarantee if he queues up another, it'll be a free spawn again. It is kind of crazy that Anatan is building raw kata into mass spear, though. All right, come on, RNG. 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 Where's my prey RNGesuses? Okay, I'm pretty sure he's at a 50% success rate on Palatine, which is meant to be a 30% landmark. Anno. These katas are upgraded. Stacked on the stats. And the Triumph gets activated! These boys hit hard! The Desert Raider's in there. The trample comes through. He wedges himself straight in the middle of it! But wait, that just gave Recon the backstab onto the archers. I don't think it matters, does it? No, the cataphract count is holding firm. 405 HP just doesn't seem fair. It will smash the crap out of those spears. Unbelievable. I think veterancy just not able to carry on through. And our BO3 will resolve in a 3-game series win for Anatand. That was crazy, though. Start to finish, a series defined by outposts. Although maybe, just maybe, the Cataphracts take more credit at the end. All right, guys. Up next, though, we've got something else pretty hype. Wham versus Sort of. The last time these two clashed, it was a BO3. Sort of opened with a win and looked like he was going to 2-0 Wham. Wham had to play comeback hero in that series, believe it or not. So this, I'm quite excited for. So draft complete. The boys are getting ready for game 1 now. And let's get ready to load in. All right, get predictions up. I think they're about 3 minutes in. Yeah, they're 3 minutes exact. Last time these two faced off, it may have been the most jaw-dropping series of the week, especially for a best of 3. Welcome back to Midweek Muster. We've got Wham going up against Sort of in the round of 16 of our $20,000 esports circuit. Yes, you heard me correctly. This series delivered fireworks last week. Sort of proved to us that he's not that far off of being a serious competitor when it comes to major league tournaments in Age of Empires 4. Last week, he was able to brutalize Wham in the early game and the mid game, consistently being the go-to raiding party against one of Age of Empires 4's finest. Will he be able to do it here? We kick off on Danube Divide, Japanese pick for Sort of, going up against Wham on his House of Lancaster. And that is a very curious start by Wham, and I'm not quite sure of the thought process here. Guys, the only reason you do this is to pull more sheep away from your opponent, because unless you invest in survival techniques, the rate on deer here is worse than sheep. Yeah, you heard me correctly. I'm not making it up. So deer is a 0.84 gathering rate, but sheep is 0.75. However, House of Lancaster have got a 20% buff to the gathering rate on sheep, which puts them up at 0.9. It is better to stay on sheep with Lancaster than to go onto deer, unless you decide to go for survival techniques. Yeah, the only reason I could think Wham done this is in case he got aggroed by Japanese racks and he wanted to react with his own racks and control the Forgotten Ruins. Otherwise, it doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, I think he probably wants to drop the Lancaster Castle here. So in his mind, being this close is worth it. It's an Abbey of Kings. Okay. So the only other reason I could think why Wham would have done this, other than what we talked about of getting more sheep than your opponent, is because if your opponent did Dark Age rush you, you'd have 9 villagers on the front side of your base to contest. That would make sense. And it does mean that down the line, as he techs up, he's going to have access to a better gathering rate on the sheep when risk comes into the equation, right? Like, meanwhile, Sort of, he's been gathering his sheep already. He's been eating them, which means on a delay, he's going to have to pull out of his base to somewhere more dangerous. Sort of, by the way, he did go for the stone. So we're just doing a little bit of 2x speed because I think they were at minute 3 when we started, so we're slightly behind. But we could do the disservice of not covering Recon Anatan, you know. Indeed. So many epic series today. It's been a good day. Who would rush Lancaster? Many civs, when you consider the spears, would give you the value on the Forgotten Runes. So sort of has got the Takazaiku on the way. And a stables beginning. Okay. Yeah, this is my favorite way to see played against Japan. The reason is actually that Hobilar are super effective against Yumi. Yumi have lower damage than standard archers, while Hobilars have extra armor, rather. So it means that you just minimize the damage taken easier than most matchups. And on top of that, by going with the Lords in this build, you tank yourself up to the levels of a Horseman anyway. Scout's going to try to hold here. Sort of needs time. Oh, no. Wait, what? He's got Steeled Arrow on the way. Outpost defense, maybe? No way was he just straight up. Yeah, he is. He's going archery range against Hobilar. That's crazy. This villager, could you get the kill? The Lord would need to strike 2, which I don't think is going to happen. What? What was that range? Did he push him? I think the Hobilar slightly pushed the Lord forward, so he got in range, because they should have been the same movement speed. Actually, no, the villager should have been quicker, right? It's 1.29 to 1.12. And it didn't look like he got the recharge quick enough. It's a great strike in there. Wham, able to deny the extra stone, and able to get a kill in the process. Fantastic start for the Canadian. And now the Yumi strat for Sword Off. But I am a bit worried. We've already got some manners getting added in by Wham. Very organic about this. Yes, he needs to get the wood, but the stone is coming in courtesy of the runes. Sort of has the correct idea. It's going to be Rax plus Yumi. This makes a lot more sense. But Wham is a step ahead. Yeah, so this is the other interesting thing to think about. Yeomen are usually too expensive for Feudal Age. However, similar to the effectivity of Byzantines versus, well, anything with their comp of Longbow Horsemen, you've got this dynamic where it balances out. Yeomen are 15 resources more, but Hobilar are 30 resources less than standard horsemen. So that makes it more affordable when you think about it that way. Add in the Lords with the extra health, and you are as happy as lamb. And Gamba has already been done, actually. You can see you were too late to gamble. Lord's just so frustrating, man. All that work just for it to get healed off. Oh, wants to be careful of the scout. Oh, that was close. You don't want to be riding blind here. Hobilar still being a nuisance on the back. Hobilar plus Yeoman is very expensive. You're missing the point, though. Like, if you're scaling a similar count of horseman requirement to standard horsemen, which makes sense as a counter unit to archers, right? Because they are more tanky, so they they compare to horsemen. Not to mention they have a quicker attack speed than standard horsemen. If you're paying 30 resources less, then you can actually afford Yeoman. It is the way to justify Yeoman. Right? Is the most comfortable way. Like, sure, you can talk about Spearmen because they're cheaper in general, but in terms of this unit will be as impactful against its counter type as Horseman, yes, it will be. Because, like, it's a quicker attack speed. I think it's 1.75 compared to 1.5, which means that you can kind of, like, hit, move a bit cleaner. And with the extra ranged armor, you have as much health as a Horseman will against archers. I'm a bit scared for Sword Off. This Yeoman Ball is going to be a lot more threatening at this rate. You know, he's keeping up on count to Yumi. Sword Off now with the pivot into Samurai is intriguing. I mean, in fairness, Yeoman, they're not longbows. They don't get the extra +1 damage. It's not as threatening or impactful, really. Complete slowdown. Sort of can keep scaling Samurai into a gradual castle, right? But Wham's timing's looking a lot better. He's got the manners after all, which is buffing him up. Lancaster's weak point has always been men-at-arms. That's... Huh? Have you been watching Earlsguard builds? Trust me. They ain't struggling on men-at-arms. I would say of all the Lancaster builds, the Earlsguard Rush build is probably the most oppressive one on the ladder. If you don't know what you're doing against it, you get rolled. Even at the high level, it has good impact. Big step up from Sword Off. We're just going to 2x, because like I said, we're still a minute out from live. This is now going to be probably, what, White Tower drop? Would be good if he get King's College, but... Oh, he is going to go for it. Yeah, he doesn't feel threatened enough. Which is interesting, because Sword Off is not aging up as well. No, he's full investing in the attack. He's going to look to step up. Oh, Wham, regret this. One villager does go down. Thinks about torching him, but the Lords, man, the Lords are just so tanky. Starts to pull him away. He can't get the kill. Oh, these things are infuriating. 260 HP. That's more than a Gilded Men-at-Arms. In Casa, come on. Yeoman now being targeted. The Yumiel tried out a little bit better there, sure, but still bigger problems. Arrowslit just came in. That's increased DPS. Tech up is now complete, and Sword Off is overextended and exhausted. Yeoman mostly been cleared out. It's just a handful of Yumi left. The problem is also, with the Arrowslit in placement, a lot more DPS now on the tower to clear the limited torches. On top of that, the Kings, they got the out of combat tag. Oh, that was brilliantly planned by Wham. He waited until the Yumi were all dead and then just passes it over. Villager's going to be chased slightly, but not quick enough. Yeoman gets sacked to clear the way. Now Hobbler scaling continues. Remember, Wham, he has an easy peasy tech to get out of this bind. It's going to be the fast production. Hill training gets Hobbler out in 8 seconds, but also gives them double damage on a charge. You need to be careful of those spears. This is a great way of addressing the samurai. More stables coming behind it. Raxes as well, which just makes sense. If your opponent's stuck an age behind, Earlsguard is your MVP. Damn, what a wacky game. And only the first in this best of 3. And these two just deliver. Now the Lords. Remember, Lords also get buffed with age. They're now up to 300 HP. That is with a 20% buffer of having each other in range and holding hands and singing Kumbaya, but it still counts. Veterancy for Hobbler is just, what, 10 seconds away? Sword Off has not even started the age up yet. Sword Off under the back gold. Yeah, I was wondering like where the gold drop-off was at. So he already tapped the front side. This is the negative of this many samurai. That heavily delayed his timing, actually. German just got upgraded as well for Wham. Needs Hobbler. Just look at the HP. You wouldn't think that they are cheaper horsemen when they got that much health. 146. Remember, standard vet horseman is 155. Making less than a 10% difference in health. For 30% cheaper. Speed blob is scary enough for now for Sword Off, but as the Yeoman scale up, it's going to get problematic. And the Hobbler. Oh, he's just Rohirriming. If he can just find it. The connector on the charge is big here. Remember, each charge does 20 damage for that initial impact point. Which puts you on Chevalier levels of damage. Which is, now that I say it out loud, kind of bonkers still. But damn, is it fun. We'll rotate around the back. Second wave building up now. We do have a crossbow switch over. Yeah, I'm aware of the likely tech upcoming and the risk of there being mounted samurai. If not that, it's going to be normal samurai. Either case, crossbow's your answer. Hobbler. Oh, Wham is fishing. Sort of knows how dangerous this charging is. Gets the minimum range. Wallops through onto the Yumi. And he just ring-a-ring-a-rosy the spears. And he got like, what? Was that 1, 2 worker kills? The Lord is just bogging down so much of the melee as well. And it just means he keeps rotating. Farm's now shut down.
If he just returns to the gold, sort of might just end up Cracks Creek without a paddle here. Hobbler are going to steer wide. Sort of will be able to get to the backside there. Ranged armor 2 is coming, folks. The good news is sort of's going for sprint on placements. The bad news is one of them is here. Oops. Please don't target the Lord. Please don't target the Lord. Yes, there we go. That's exactly what you want, the hobby kills. Just tilting when you don't kill on one hit there. Hobbler versus Mounted Samurai. You'd want to favor the Mounted Samurai, right? Yeah, if there wasn't 5 times the Hobblers. Outpost needs to be finished. He hasn't actually ticked it out, so more spring shots coming out. It's going to crumble now. Remember, sort of has limited span here. The gold is almost gone already. Wow, with the full ape click. Sacks the Hobbler, but the second group go in. Onto the workers. Runs away. But more kills the Chief. Wham now up by 11. Warlord to scare him wider. But the Lords are diving in. And this is looking shaky at best. I mean, sort of. He has to move wide for the gold now. Which Wham would have seen, right? I think he would have noticed that. Maybe not. Doesn't matter, though. The Yeoman, they're finding the worker kill sort of asleep at the wheel. I mean, the melee army's dead, sure, but worth it for the lead that Wham has now built. Not just that, Hobbler sneaking around. They will see the outpost going up, not able to stop it in time. With the amount of stone that Wham's accrued, he can easily just go into a level 2 mana play here if he wants to. Instead, it's more Hobbler, more Yeoman, more go. This guy has got no chill. I love it, man. I absolutely adore it. I'm kind of sick and tired of just mass manas into Imperial. It's obvious, it's powerful, sure, but it's boring as all hell. You know how people go up when they watched every game of Delhi? Like at first, like, wow, feudal pressure, big wow, much cool. And then they just done it every game, like, wow, hate game. Next meta, please. Oh no, the villagers again. Wait, this is important. Wham, right now he's moving slow. He hasn't pulled the Yeoman away from formation. But it doesn't matter. GG. Game number 1 to the Canadian. And he didn't even need to ratatouille with those defensive landmarks to do it. There you go, folks. Take this to your pub games. Change the meta. Evolve it into something better. You don't need mass manners to succeed. You just need the Lords. Okay, well played. Game number 1 goes to Mr. Whamsicle. Game 2, they should be setting up for now. And the picks are going to be Mali versus Otto. Is that Sunken Lands? Probably Dry Arabia, right? That could be Sunken Lands. I'm just thinking for Dry Arabia, you've got... Have you got anything? I mean, well, he's got Atrian Byzantines. And I think Sunken Lands is similar enough in ways for these civs, like either or could make sense. But let me mark in Sunken Lands for you guys anyway. Oh, that also gives me enough time to set up the name of the last series, so I forgot to. Which one was it? Was it? Oopsie. That's the one. Recon vs. Anatan Game 1. Give me a sec, guys. I just need to mark these for my editor so his job is easier later.
Might try uploading series again. A bit skeptical though. Still don't feel any shame about those cables? I'll tell you what I think about those cables. Exclamation mark cables. That's all I feel about those cables. Oh, by the way, guys, a reminder, exclamation mark AMD as well. We are working with them this week. If you want to help out the channel and do so for free, it's easy. You see that link, you click that link, you check out the products. Highly recommend looking through the AMD lineup as well as the free access custom PCs you can get built across at Scan. Shout out to them for sponsoring the channel. Click on that link. It helps more than you realize. It's that easy to do as well. It's just one click. All right. In we go. It is going to be Sunken Lands. Hold up. Am I seeing a Rax rush? Well, these never work against the Malians, so what is sort of up to? Let's find out. Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's here in the round of 16 where these two noteworthy names clash. It almost seems criminal that it's only a best of 3 between these two. But yes, someone will go out early. And right now, it's looking likely to be sort of after Wham holds nothing back in game number 1. Sort of needs to be the aggressor, be the present and dominant force. And he looks to do so on Sunken Lands with an Ottoman pick into Mali. My God, is it a good spawn for it? Are you kidding me? Yeah, Outpost already coming. I mean, it has to for Wham. But guys, even with the Outpost, I mean, there is a frustrating Outpost placement for Sword Off to achieve here. Double Deer and the Pit Mine on one screen? Cha-ching. Yeah, you could just lock this all down. Goodness gracious. And yeah, this play has just become the go-to. I think people are going to have to maybe just evolve the builds. It's almost like when you're up against Mali now, the ideal play might be to just anticipate that they're going to build this outpost because they're anticipating that you're going to outpost rush them. Which is easy to do. When you pick civs like Ottomans, Mongols, etc., like that's when people are going to be freaked out expecting you to play this way. Game 1, let's pay out predictions and let's put up predictions for game 2. Outpost complete. And this play works because of this mill detail. By the way, I actually think that Wham could have deer shoved into the choke point and then built the mill here, which is wacky. Actually, like, yeah, he would have blocked it, right? But maybe it would have been worth deer shoving across. And then he wouldn't have needed the sheep drop off. He actually would have had the better gathering rate. This also could have been fixed if he just built the outpost here instead of here. Which is actually desirable. It's about the same distance from the TC. Because then you place the mill here, and you've just got double deer. It's a little bit risky if your opponent builds an outpost here, so I guess that's what he's worried about. But if you want to be greedy about this, there was a sexy outpost format that would have given you the better gathering rate. So now just spamming up the houses. Oof. Poor Sword Off. Not many people gambling in favor of him here. Yeah, I mean, it's been an underwhelming beginning. Let's just be fair about that. The one rack spearman, it did at least achieve the outpost, though. Sure, he didn't find damage for it, but you also have to do the maths on what it cost Wham. He wants to build a mill, maybe not this early, but like probably because of Pro Scouts, so let's just assume that's fine. But he still spent 100 wood, and he spent a whole minute building that outpost, right? So let's just assume that's minus 30, 40 resources, plus the 100. You're at 140. Your opponent, on the other hand, spent 90 into 80. That's 170. It's not that atrocious of an exchange. Minaret Madrasa now coming from sort of. No prediction, always Wham. Then you would have been sorely wrong last week when, like, Wham lost the first game and then was behind in the second. I don't know, man. I don't think people should be sleeping on Sword of. This guy has been grinding harder than anyone else on ladder. It's ridiculous. How many games do you think Sword of has played this season, chat? Without looking, take a guess. It's a lot. 450? Not bad. 457. Check these numbers right here. You see that? Top of the ladder, look at these players' names. 457. Dumu doesn't even beat that. And Dumu plays a crap ton. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And also, it has paid off because right now, Sordov is sitting right here in 9th place. Props to him on that. Man's a grinder. Love to see him starting to feel ready, confident to start taking it into the competitive sphere. Signing up for the midweek musters. I just realized we're a minute away from live. We must be. Yeah, we hopped in like, I think a minute late because the observer didn't show up straight away. So we'll do the 4x speed just so we get into age. Second pit mine now being set up. So the initial one was kind of griefy for Wham, but the next one is good. And in fairness, I say it was griefy, but like if he's locked it in with the outpost, this is a great spawn. Might be even a situation where you don't need pro scouts. No, and he agrees. He just pulls the mill, goes under the deer. Happy as can be. Military schools and stables coming through. And we will start to slow this down a little bit because I think we're literally live. Double milli school quite early. I've been noticing more players moving back towards these early timings on military schools. Yeah, there we go. We're live. It's not a bad idea necessarily. It's just, obviously, it's timing versus gradual, right? So if you don't think you've got an attack point in the next 3 or 4 minutes, the military school is worth going into, right? But if you're scaling for an all-in at, say, 11 minutes, military school is like self-griefing, right? Like military school is really, I think it's harder to justify when you're going for the imam point build. Because the imam point build, you're looking at these kind of all-in-y, my first units are most important. You know, similar to the idea of like, you know, if you go for pro scouts with a civ and you miss out on your first night timing, that has a price you're paying, right? Like your timing on your next 4 or 5 nights might be better, but that first night could have been incredibly impactful. It could have killed 3 workers. Wow. Already prepping the blacksmiths. As you'll want to do, when you're up against the Ottomans, you know they're going to have a good blacksmith timing, especially the military school opening. So you just don't want to fall behind there. Scout should be dead. Yeah, he didn't get the Warrior Scout upgrade, so he's actually slower than the Sipahi. Maybe? Wait, what? Are you kidding? I'm not griefing at all. Oh, no, he turned. Okay, so he's going to go down there. He actually almost dodged death there. The sheep was coming in clutch. It kept body blocking. If he kept running in a straight line, he actually would have gotten away with that. The little lamb that could. Wham. A little Canadian that can. Look at this. Already double ranch set up. So sort of is scaling towards an all-in attack point. We talked about the point where military school is less valuable when you're trying to do this. But because it's gradual ranch spam, the idea is it should, in theory, pay off. You should get enough value, enough time out of this. Sort of. How are we looking? Archer count about to hit 10. Would be a good time to consider undermesh. Because, you know, if you're planning to dive your opponent as he ages up, you're going to need the undermesh on those Sipahi. Otherwise, TC's going to clear him a little bit too fast. And he's checking in now. So he sees the extra ranch coming. I don't think he's... Yeah, he never scouted the north side. So he actually doesn't know that it's triple ranch. You could take a guess at it based on the fact that your opponent has a mill up here. So, like, the logical organic thing would be that you want to set up the ranches on the north side first, maybe? And then, because that way the cows get garrisoned sooner. But that's quite the assumption. Like, realistically, you could think that this is ranch number 1. Because the villages are here, so it's closest to where they already were. Based on timing, though, I'd say you'd assume your opponent is at least 2 ranches full. If not more. Sort of undermesh down the way, but still some time out. 40 seconds out. Whew. What do you guys think? 1, if you think Malians survive this dive and then dominating castle. 2, if you think sort of is on track to just wash away the Malian threat with 1 big dive. Sheesh. No love for sort of. You guys don't think he's got that 3 a.m. buff? It is like 3 a.m. for him right now, by the way. It's pretty damn late. Shout out to the lad for being reasonable. Yeah, I think like Wham got cozy hours and sort of got pretty rough hours, actually. Bless him. I wonder if they played at a more appropriate time for sort of last week and they're balancing out between the two. That would be fair. Kind of like when we have Louis against, say, someone from Europe or whatever. The thing that you typically do is you take turns on the server or you choose an in-between server. Dive coming in. Sapahi. We'll be able to scare the villagers back, but Wham has been benefiting immensely from this deer gathering rate. Yeah, just essentially getting pro scouts without needing pro scouts. And sort of 8 more Sapai? Does he have... Okay, no. Wait, okay, he's got a second stables, right? No, he just cancelled a few, I think, and switched them over to archers. That's a lot in reserve. He's just not getting his army out as quick as he should here. Archers now with the dive in. Donzo count is strong. 17 and Wham. Now ready to go to the next stage. Yep, the Fulani drop begging to happen. Could it be Farimba instead? I doubt it. Fulani, just too damn good. Okay, so now we get into an interesting point in this matchup. This matchup, a long time ago, used to be dominated by Ottomans off of the Dark Age rush into Outpost Secure and scale from there. Even without that play, guys, Ottomans aren't a slouch in Castle and beyond. Malians love to build into Musafadi, Sofa, these type of things. And Ottomans do have the eventual answer in a Janissary. You cannot rush it against Malian archers. But down the line, you know, if sort of doesn't hemorrhage and he's able to stabilize in Castle, he actually does have the answers to Malian threats. Especially considering how scary Sapai themselves are. You know, you can argue that archers can clear Janissaries, but not as quickly as Sapahi will clear archers. No. He waited for it. That's the tech up noise he was looking for, sort of. Looks to punish. Dives past, needs those kills onto the javelins and the Donzos before the upgrade comes in. Sees the villagers exposed. That forces the recommitment out of Wham. To pull away archers. Target down a few. Sapahi poke at it again, but sort of. I don't think that was ideal, no. Sapahi count is getting low already. The Donzo count is looking healthy. A few villagers being lost, but whoopty freaking doodah. The veteran sees in for the javelins already. The archers just not registering damage anymore. And the Donzo upgrade about to complete as well. It's a failed dive by sort of. And he's not even ready to age up yet. He didn't exhaust the army. He didn't get mass worker kills. He did not deny the cow. Sort of achieved none of his goals with this dive. Well played by Wham. Essentially just guaranteeing the villagers hung around. Wasn't retreating them either. Just wedged his javelins that were getting upgraded first into this choke point, absorbing the shots. Knowing that sort of was in an A-click motion that would make it hard to get kills. And now, make it hard to see a way to victory. He's got the tech up soon. But Wham is marching across the field. Similarly to how sort of dove him in the middle of an age up, Wham will now look to return the favor. And I do worry for sort of. He's only got 5 archers against 16 veteran Donzos. These are only feudal Sapahi. They might be a premium light cav, but they're playing an age behind. Not just that. Sort of didn't put them all in the defense. No, he pulled a wave to go for a dive attack. Which means he has barely anyone defending him at home. Sort of. Oh my, 25. Wham. The problem here is he's a little bit hesitant because he doesn't know where the rest of the cavalry is. The dive comes around the back, though. The Donzos are mirroring the move. Outnumbered as they may be. And he guesses wrong. Wham. He steers north instead of east. Sort of not dead yet. Sapahi raid is not going to be able to achieve anything, though. Gets scared away. And Wham. Now he knows to dive. The villagers.
Sees the mining camp, but doesn't scout them, sort of. A Swedish Neo here. Dodges the bullet. Could he be the chosen one, though? Or is Canadian Agent Smith here to make him disappear? Wow, one of the big baddies that you have to try and beat. One of the most consistent players to make it deep in midweek muster. And if he could just find that one grab, what damage he could do here. But sort of plays a fantastic game of Ringer Roses. Wham has at least got Sofa following this up. We talked about Sofa being counted down the line, but we're not there yet. Wham will start to contest him in these choke points. Veterancy for Sapahi hasn't been queued up, and that's it. He just doesn't see a way. The Sofa arrive. A clean 2-0 for Wham. Sort of had no shot this week. A brutal matchup. Feels kind of rough, actually, that we have to see him just go out so early. Been having a lot of talk at the moment about turning these into best of fives. What do you think, guys? Do we need to extend them? Maybe give more shots for legends like Sort of? Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next chapter. Camera is so low. Not really. So, I'm a big believer in zooming in to capture the size of the fight as it appears. I think that ends up being a much better viewing experience for like everyone in general. Like, I'm not a big believer in the hyper zoomed out snob type crap because I think Age of Empires 4 struggles. Like, there are games where you can be that far out. So, for example, like Dota 2 works when it's that far out with that anchored thing because the effects, the size of them, everything is already clear. But in Age of Empires 4, full zoom out makes everything real tiny. But yeah, a little bit of an underwhelming end to that one. But let's have a look at what that does for the brackets. So, let me update this. So far, we've had Anatan versus Recon, which was a 3-0, even though it only needed to be a 2-0. And then we just had Wham versus Sort of, which was also a 2-0. Vortex versus Mahodo, we could probably open tomorrow with that. And then we have Kilyadi Core as well. That's nice padding as well. It just gives people enough time to get everything else scheduled. And that means we would have done how many series today? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like 6, I think. Or was it 7? So let me just update this now. So that means that we're going to have Anatan versus Numidan. I imagine that'll get scheduled soon for tomorrow. Wham was able to get his 2-0. And then what else did we say? We can probably do the VODs of Vortex versus Mahodo. The winner of that, Voldemar's series, has already been scheduled for later in the day tomorrow. So we might use that as one to catch. But here's the state of things. Boom. Is that everything? I think that's everything, right? Lucifron, Voldemar, Wham, Anatan, Numidan. Shortest stream today? I wouldn't call it short. It looked short if you check the timer because we had a disconnect, which threw us off track. I think this would have been like a crazy day on the averages if it wasn't for that. We had to rebuild from like half because we also had, so we had this one, which is like 3.5 hour stream. And then, yeah, before that, we were live for 3.5 hours. Yeah, it's definitely not short. We've been live for 7 hours today, which is why I'm thinking of winding down now. So tomorrow, then, that would mean that we'll probably start off with Kilyadi versus Core. And then maybe B versus Scatterbrained. And then we'll see how things land. Voldemar's series, I think, was scheduled for the evening, so we'll have plenty of time to cover the Vortex Mahodo one before that. But yeah, I'm just looking at comms right now. The Voldemar one is scheduled in for 6 p.m. UK time tomorrow. I should be live by about 1 p.m. UK time tomorrow, maybe a little bit earlier, potentially. But yeah, tomorrow I'd say we do 1, 2, probably 6 series. Something like 6 series, 6 or 7 series. And considering that those will be 4 best of 5s, that's pretty damn good. So if you guys are enjoying the content and you want to support it more,
Easy things to do. Exclamation mark Discord. Join our Discord so you're always aware. Also allows you to meet like-minded people so you can game with them, have talks, whatever it's going to be. Lets you keep up to date with everything we do. On top of that, reminder that we are working with AMD this week. If you want to help out the channel, if you want to do something easy, exclamation mark AMD, go across the Scans website and have a look at their range of AMD processors. I highly recommend you guys check out the 9800X3D. I'm envious of people that got this in a gaming rig because I haven't got the X3D model. I've got the 9950, which is better for production, but for gaming, most definitely do this. On top of that, yeah, Smoothie, you want a giveaway, and then you didn't join a Discord, so you don't get it now. Fired. Do we still give Smoothie the key? Maybe I'll have another one to give away. We'll see. But yeah, exclamation mark AMD, please do click on that. It helps us get them to come back bigger and better, to sponsor further and further. But outside that, make sure you are following us across on all the platforms. Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, whatever it may be. Make sure that you are signed up on all of those. Notifications turned on so you know when we go live. Should be a new YouTube video going up. I think it might have already been posted for today, but there'll be one tomorrow otherwise. Yes, there's the horsepower is the only win condition, which, I mean, we updated the thumbnails. Are you not entertained? Yeah, some interesting experimentation. I don't know if Mega's here, so I'm having a look at it. I see the pattern as well. Let me know on the Discord if you guys can spot the pattern for the new thumbnails. Is it only shipping to EU since it's UK? I think it might be shipping to EU, but it's also an awareness campaign. So just clicking on there and having a look helps out a lot as we work primarily directly through AMD there. So they're just looking to get eyeballs on their products. But guys, that's gonna be it for now. I will be back tomorrow around the same time today, give or take maybe half an hour-ish. So you will get, I think you're getting an OLED since you keep saying it's amazing. Dude, I've got the mini LED. I'll let you know about the OLEDs. We're hoping to get that shipped out probably in the next week, one from Gigabyte, and then I can give you full review. We'll even have it on screen, capturing it via our beautiful Logitech 4K camera. But what I'll do now, guys, I'm going to end the streams for both YouTube and Kick. Thank you very much for watching. For Twitch, hang around. We're going to find someone to raid. And then I'll be back tomorrow for more Age of Empires 4.